so alone and afraid. Wasn't looking for a lover. Nobody understood where I've been. I guess I thought I needed more time to protect my love from potential offense. So I did you came around and you played, but I shut it down. So you took it to, and I'm not surprised by what I found. 'Cause I know I needed something different, and it had to be you. Out of the blue, somebody who would listen, and it had to be you. Out of all the people to revive my love, couldn't be just anyone. But baby, it had to be you. I didn't seem to notice that you were checking for me. We were just friends. But we started building trust, and my fragile heart started to bend. Yeah. I should have paid attention. You would have been the obvious choice. But I needed time to see clearly, dig deep and cut through the noise. So then you came around and you let it go. But so you took it time, and I'm not surprised by what I found. 'Cause I know I needed something different, and it had to be you. Out the blue, somebody who would listen, and it had to be you. Out of all the people to revive my love, couldn't be just anyone. But baby, it had to be you.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful Friday in the Queen City. Nathan Ivey with you. What a week. What a week. I want to talk about the week in review and everything that's happened between yesterday's show and today. And, of course, we've had 24 hours to process the scandal at City Hall. Of course, yesterday it was announced and we saw the press conference. Maybe many of you stayed on to the show. We did a marathon show yesterday, which, you know, is becoming par for the course when something is happening. And we'll talk about all of the updates from the arrest of P.G. Sittenfield. You've got about 24 hours now to let it sit with you. There's a lot of media written about it, so let's discuss it this morning. Here is my number, 513-873-7134. If you should decide to share your thoughts this morning, please share them with me. Oh, man, I got some great messages I want to share with you as well on Facebook. Very, very encouraging. Also, if you like this type of a show, if you rock with independent media, if you're down with Black voices, fresh voices, well, then consider joining our mission to amplify Black voices in the greater Cincinnati and beyond, and become a patron. There's a link in the description today on Facebook and on YouTube. The Nathan Ivey Show gets started in about 60 seconds. Don't go anywhere.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a fuck, that's what they don't understand. I'm back again.
partying like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a fuck, I don't care. Did this for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, I might tell them it's nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings I throw on my pain on percussion. The disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you almost spotted the feast. I've been on go mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Annie up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money, too funny, old shorty talking about, I'm on the now.
All right, good morning, everybody. Please take a second to like and share in particular day's show. When you share the show, more people see it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back. Let's do it. There it is. Good morning to you. Yeah, looking good, looking good. Welcome to my home studio. Lots of stuff to discuss today. Let me take a second to like and share the show myself, actually. I'm asking you to do it. I got to be the number one chief sharer for my own ish. As I tell all the people I work with, man, in terms of podcasts, you got to be the number one person. You know what I'm saying? You got to do it. All right, let me share today's show. It means everything. So, yeah, shout out, man, to Elizabeth. Hey, good morning to you, Elizabeth. Hope you're listening this morning. I got a great message yesterday, and it's so encouraging. I love these kind of messages. I really do, because what it tells me is that the ceiling is still very, very high for what we're doing right now with this show. But I got a message from Elizabeth, who came across the show yesterday, maybe the day before, it was this week. And it was because somebody shared the show and she saw it for the first time. She was like, you know, I used to hear you back when you was in corporate radio and you was my favorite talk show host. I wondered what happened. It just goes to show you how we can be so near one another, but yet so far away. I love it. I'll say it again. Even after all this time, there's a lot of folks that love my flows. They love what I do, my style, and they just don't know where I'm at. They have no idea. And for people that rock with the show every day and you on Facebook, you might be like, well, damn, Nate, I mean, how's that possible? You on Facebook? Yeah, but you got to understand two things about the way Facebook works. Number one, like on my personal page, I got like 5,000 friends, a couple thousand folks that are following. That is great. But when you post something, Facebook don't show that to everybody. And then secondly, not everyone is on. You got a lot of people who are just like dormant. Like they might have a second account or they might even be rocking with Facebook anymore. So I'll say it again, family. When you share the show, more people see it. I mean, really, marketing individuals, there's a number that's attached to how valuable that is. It's super valuable. I mean, together with your help, we can spread the reach of this show far, far more and faster than I can by myself. So again, you are helping this show every time you grow. You are helping, my mission to amplify Black voices. Not just with this show, but all the shows. Speaking of which, coming up today at 12:30 p.m., the Is It Just Me podcast with Donnie B. Donnie will be talking about numerous things, but primarily she's going to be talking about the corruption at City Hall. Get ready for it. Should be very interesting. She'll have some unique insights to share with you. Make sure you check that out today at 12:30 p.m. right here on Sin Digital Media. Now, listen, I know it may not seem like it, but I'm a little bit under the weather. I don't know if it's COVID. I don't know what it is, but last couple of days, I haven't been feeling 100%. But I am a consummate professional. You know what I'm saying? A he-man of talk radio, a czar. So I will carry on. Couple things going on. I don't know if they're COVID related or not. I haven't really delved into the symptoms to try to match it up to what I'm feeling. But I'm with you. Nonetheless. Yesterday, we had a great time. We rocked for what? Till 11:30? A little different. What's that, 4 hours? A little different. I'm only scheduled. Listen, I give myself 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours a day to rock with you, and then I move on. Today I'm with you at least until 9:30, 10 a.m. Again, I'm a little bit under the weather. I'm hoping that some of this organic green tea will make me feel better. What do you drink in the morning? What do? You coffee drinker? You a gin drinker in the morning? Hopefully not. Got to get that vodka in before 8 a.m., huh? Not good for your body. Where's my pill box? I share this with you unabashedly. I'm not ashamed. I share this with you because I care about you. That's why I share it with you. When I talk about my health, I share it with you because I care about you. I don't want you to go through what I went through in February of this year. I'm not going to call it a nightmare because I'm still here. You can still see me and hear me. That's all good. But be better than your boy Nate. Be way better. Take care of this body. See this body right here? I'm on it every single day. My son has become my new workout buddy. He walks with me every single day. And he's not listening right now, but I'm also building up his stamina in his body. He gonna be a nightmare on the b-ball court. Get ready for it. The boy, he's not ambidextrous, but much like his mother, he's left-handed, but he can do things with his right hand. Woo, we developing. I got some LeVar Ball in me. Shout out to LeVar Ball. On Fridays, man, I'm gonna start shouting out people to do things that need to be shout out worthy on a Friday. It seems like the kind of thing to do on a Friday. And yeah, my battery's all the way charged. There it is. We charged all the way up. Good morning to you, 513-873-7134. I got to shout out a lot of people, but I want to shout out LeVar Ball. Now, a lot of people was hating on this black man because he was bragging on his sons. But this week, his second son was drafted third to the Charlotte Hornets. That's Michael Jordan's team in the NBA draft. That means that 2 out of 3 of his sons were drafted in the top 3 in the NBA. That makes NBA history right there. So shout out to LeVar Ball. All you LeVar Ball haters out there, you know what you can do. Hating on a black man that cares about his son. Oh, he talking too much about his own son, huh? What? I love it. I love it. Every son should be so blessed to have a father that pushes them to greatness. If he had to get his Joe Jackson on, then so be it. He had to get his Joe Jackson on. So shout out to LeVar Ball. All these haters out here hating on this black man. That's all it was. What you mean, big baller shoes? Now, they turned out to be trash. But I just love the entrepreneurial hustle of it. You know what I'm saying? I love all of that. I love it. Remember this guy, LeVar Ball? He must have learned this lesson. He kept it quiet. Dude talking about his son going to be better than Steph Curry. People was like, what? But it worked. He talked his son to be taken, what was it, number 2 or 3 by the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, come on, man. You can't hate on that. You can't hate on that. Anybody hating on that, you hating on life. Stop hating on life. I got an image I'll show up for you here in a second. This is LeVar Ball, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Look at this brother right here. Shout out to this black man right here. Shout out to him. He did the right thing. His son went number 3 in the draft. He has 3 sons. 2 of them went to the NBA. Not just lottery picks, but top 3 picks. First time in NBA history that siblings have ever gone so high in the NBA draft. The man must be doing something right. You damn haters. Also, shout out to Janaea Trotter. Anybody know who Janaea Trotter is? Shout out to Janaea Trotter because I think this is kind of getting overlooked. And I don't want to overlook this morning. As reported by City Beat magazine, Janaea Trotter did something big. Nobody's really talking about this. Remember those Black Lives Matter protesters? They got swooped up by the boys after John Cranley put a curfew in place. Remember that curfew? Remember this? Remember when people hit the streets all over the country? Going back to May and June of this year, it was beautiful. I loved it. I loved it. I told you, man, I was like, good. It was beautiful. I love seeing people in the streets. I love seeing people go down to City Hall, banging on the man, banging on the system. It was beautiful. I want to see more of it. Quite honestly, I could have did that. Man, that was music to my ears and dance to my eyes. I loved it. But you remember John Cranley put a curfew in order because that's what the status quo does. And swooped up a lot of people, and he had all these charges against folks. Well, they were dismissed. A Hamilton County Municipal Court judge dismissed the charges against 35 Black Lives Matter protesters who were arrested in Cincinnati between May 29th and June 1st. And guess who that Hamilton County Municipal Court judge is? Janaea Trotter. That's right. Props. She said basically it was unconstitutional. It was some dumb ish. And remember when John Cranley put that curfew in place and people were like, wait a minute, this is an infringement on my rights. And they tried to get it and confront John Cranley and get some answers. He was at a downtown restaurant, like oblivious to what was going on. Like you really think you're going to go downtown and have dinner with the family? No, Buster. So some people came up to him, and I guess he was with some family members and friends eating. They were fine dining, and they wanted to ask him some questions, and he treated them like they were like COVID-19. Like, ugh, get away. Remember this? Remember this? Unconstitutional, per Janaea Trotter. So charges were dropped. I'm happy to see this. I want to shout out Janaea Trotter for that. Shout out to Janaea Trotter. Shout out. Most Def. Yeah, she deserves props for that. Mofos run. Just because you do something don't mean it's always the right thing to do. You had the city, the chief of police tell me it was the right thing to do. I mean, you can knock it off, man. But I get if you're the chief of police, you're coming from a law and order standpoint. You ain't really worried about the Constitution, right? You let the courts deal with that. Janaea Trotter said exercising your First Amendment rights was considered an essential activity by the Ohio Department of Health during the COVID-19 shutdown, and that the curfew did not define essential workers who are included. What? She also said that the curfew failed to notify what, if any, crime a person commits if out past the curfew. I remember a brother that got swooped up as well. I'm telling you, Hamilton County's going to have to pay for that. There are still at least 425 protest cases pending before the Hamilton County Municipal Court and Mass Defense Coalition that said they need to be dismissed as well. I say free the people. Dismiss all these charges, Mr. Prosecutor. Mr. Officer, please take these handcuffs off of us. Remember this? Take off the handcuffs of the people, please. Speaking of prosecutor, man, damn, did y'all hip to the real deal of what really happened with, because somebody asked me this yesterday, but are you hip to what really happened with Fanon Rucker? The reason why Fanon Rucker lost is because white Democrats thought that he was a scary black man. White female Democrats betrayed him. I'll let that sink in. White female Democrats betrayed Fanon Rucker. They went down the line here in Hamilton County and voted Democrat. They got to this brother who was running for Hamilton County prosecutor, and they voted for Joe Dieters. Who do you blame for that? These are facts now. Facts on facts on facts. Who do you blame for that? Who do you blame for that? 513-873-7134. Also, where is our money? Where is the money? Where's the money, Congress? How is it that here we are going into Thanksgiving, damn near the Christmas holiday? You know, people need money for gifts, and we don't have a damn stimulus package. Where's the money? Where is the money? That's what I want to know. Hold on one second. That's what I want to know. Damn, Congress don't give a damn about the people, man. They don't care about us. They don't care about you. Cue to Michael Jackson. They don't really care about us. They don't care about us. Where's the money? Give me the loot. Where's the cash? You know, these senators, man, most of U.S. senators are millionaires, meaning multimillionaires. Not all members of Congress are. The number goes way down in terms of between Congress and U.S. Senate. Where's the money? These motherfuckers talking about we taking a break for Thanksgiving. Oh, by the way, the CDC is saying you probably shouldn't go to your mama's house for Thanksgiving. No Thanksgiving gatherings this year. Where's the money for the turkey, for the cranberry sauce, for the gravy, for the mashed potatoes? Where is the money? We out here struggling to pay our taxes. Don't you pay your taxes? Struggling to pay your taxes, sales tax, property tax. But now here we are facing a pandemic, and these motherfuckers can't get their ish together to give us what we need to get by. And it's pissing me off. You should be pissed by that this morning. Super pissed by it. You heard a super thug? Well, I'm super pissed this morning. The hell? Where is the money? Where's the money for the people? The people demand our money. Where is it? Business is shutting down. That means people can't go to work. It's affecting the economy on every state. Where's the money? If you want us, and I'm a big supporter of this, if you want the human beings in these United States to adhere to your COVID-19 guidelines and don't go out, don't do this, don't do that, then you're going to have to make sure that we got enough money to get by. Because last time I went to the grocery store, man, listen, that grocery bill is hitting like Iron Mike Tyson. It's hitting. They ain't giving out. What are they giving out the free stuff now? There are some folks out there. Shout out to CPS. It's wonderful what they're doing. Even that's being paid by taxpayer dollars on some levels. But where is the stimulus checks, man? Where's the money? Give me the loot. Give me the loot. Where is it? You know people got drugs to buy. You know people got drugs to buy. Where is the money? Show me the money. I mean, cue to Jerry Maguire, man. You better get this loot. You better let this loot go, man. Let it go. Release the money. Again, it's so easy for them. But real folks out here, hardworking Americans, are struggling. And it looks like we're going into what could be a season of even more struggle. I'm 100% about, the mask. And if it comes to a lockdown, I don't like it. I don't want it. It's going to affect me in a lot of different ways. But if that means we'll get through COVID, I've already told you, stop the whining and the crying. I don't want to hear all that. Let's get this done. But you have to give people what they need to get through these difficult times. These mofos these mofos got me confused, man. Where is the cash, man? Better run them stimulus checks quick. Run the check, write the check. Speaking of checks, that's exactly what the FBI said that PG Sittenfield received from FBI informants. Now, we've gotten about 24 hours to let it sit with us. We now have, again, a little bit of time between when it broke yesterday. I was live on the air talking about, I think we was talking about something. No, we was talking about, what was yesterday? Yeah. This is what we was talking about yesterday, at least to kick off the show. We was talking about Skylar. White privilege. Skylar, white privilege Richardson. And we were also talking about, which is a conversation that I'll come back to, can black people succeed in Cincinnati? That's going to be a running series of conversations. You know what I'm saying? That's something that's really, really important to us. And then I got the news. I got the news of what happened. FBI, man, they ain't, what they call it, Operation Freedom or something like that, or Operation Captain America. I forget what they actually called it. Something like that. And we got the news about councilperson PG Sittenfield and him being arrested yesterday at his home on bribery charges. We got a chance to watch the press conference yesterday, man. Whoo, these boys ain't playing. You hear a knock at the door. You look through the peephole, you do not want to see DeVillers. You want to see Hill, boy. Oh, want to see Hill, like, what the hell? What you doing here? I ain't getting no money. If you missed it, let me break down. So basically, the FBI said yesterday that PG Sittenfield was guilty of bribery. Essentially, he was taking money in exchange for votes. Very similar to what Tamaya Denard and also Jeff Pastor have been accused of. Now, of course, Tamaya Denard has pled guilty. Jeff Pastor at this point has been accused. There's not a lot of movement unless something's happened this morning. But again, I want to give you a chance, after we got a chance to process it, to give me your thoughts. You can call in, hit 513-873-7134. And there's a lot to unpack here, but let me just break down what they're alleging. And if I'm wrong on this on any level, you know what to do. Hit me with a comment or whatever, and I'll try to get your thoughts in, or call. So essentially what they're saying is that PG Sittenfield set up a political action committee that was called Progress and Growth. Ironically, his initials, first and middle name, PG, Progress and Growth. So the PG PAC. And essentially he was taking donations to his PAC, but really they were more like, bribes in exchange for, his support to deliver votes on certain issues that these these FBI agents who were posing as developers were asking for. And apparently it was about $40,000. Now, yesterday, Mayor John Cranley had a press conference. In the press conference, he said there was a difference between the three cases. He said that with Tamaya and Jeff Pastor, it appeared to be that money was the motivation. And with PG Sittenfield, it appeared that power was the motivation, He had the money, but maybe he was stockpiling money for his PAC so that he could do whatever he was going to do with it. Maybe it would be for mayor or who knows what else. That's the gist of it. What we also picked up from Agent DeVillers yesterday is that, and this is what they said, is that initially they were running a sting operation on Jeff Pastor using a former Cincinnati Bengal named Chinedum Ndukwe. And then essentially, and again, if I heard this incorrectly, somebody set me straight. Apparently, what they said allegedly is that PG Sittenfield called Ndukwe. Like, hey, what up? You want this to go through? I'm the guy to get it through. And then they was like, ooh. They was like, ooh, woo, woo, woo. Now, the most interesting character in all of this has to be Chinedum Ndukwe. Like, what is this brother's motivation? What is he getting at all of this? Is he just a good citizen who just was tired of being shaken down? He wants to do the right thing for the community? Or is there some other motivation in it for him? I'm speculating when I say this. Did the feds have something on him that forced him to be, their star sort of witness at all of this? Because they throw his name out here like it ain't nothing. Ndukwe. It's like a new song. Somebody should make a TikTok video out of it. Ndukwe, do the Ndukwe. You know what I'm saying? Ndukwe. They throw his name out there like it's nothing. Abuse. I would love to interview Chinedum Ndukwe. That would be super dope. Speaking of interviews, stand by, folks. Coming up later today, we're going to talk, and this is going to kick off. This will be our first conversation with someone who is running for city council. Yeah, it's that time. I don't think it's too early. Never too early. Now, of course, council is a whole year away. But this, if you watch this show, if you listen to this show, this is par for the course. This is not unusual. So later on today, we're going to speak with Reginald Harris, who is running for city council at 9 a.m. So in exactly 58 minutes, we'll speak with Reginald Harris. Get a sense of who he is. I don't know the brother. I think I'm Facebook friends with him, or maybe someone I know is Facebook friends with him because it's come across my timeline. And I'll ask him about the corruption in City Hall. Well, bro, you trying to get on City Hall so you can shake down developers? So we'll find out later today. That'll be in about now 57 minutes. And that'll kick off our conversation. Again, this is going to be a long runway, folks. Long runway. I was watching reading the Cincinnati Inquirer. I'm seeing opinion pieces from people running for city council. Yeah, you don't get all of that. Oh, yeah, man. Everybody going to pile on now. I'm not corrupt. That's why you should elect me, essentially, is what you're going to hear from a lot of people. This is why we need new leadership. There's a piece written by Michelle Dillingham titled "New Leadership at City Hall Can't Come Soon Enough." You're going to see more of that kind of stuff. I mean, it comes with the territory. Like I told you, you can expect a couple things. You can expect that city council, backed by the mayor, are going to pass some type of anti-corruption measures, something like that. They have to do something. And that's something that they can do in terms of passing, legislation, bill, ordinance, whatever, that will send the message that we're not like the people that got arrested. They've got to do something. Also, don't be surprised if you see some folks, some new people get into that mayor's race. Because in my opinion, despite whether, PG Sittenfield beats these allegations, if he fights them, if he doesn't fight them, we don't know yet. But despite whatever happens, I think that the door has now been open for more challengers. Who would you like to see run for mayor? Now that it appears that PG Sittenfield is no longer a viable candidate, who would you like to see run as mayor? Who would you? Don't say LeVar Ball. Okay. Who would you like to see run for mayor? I mean, you are Cincinnatians, right? I'd love to get your thoughts. I mean, what you say matters because you ultimately will make the decision. It'll be you. Won't be them. It'll be you. To me, this is all a game changer. This is a big game changer, in my opinion. But I want to get your thoughts about it. 513. Hey, what's up, Erica? 513-873-7134. If you'd like to share your thoughts this morning, I'm here to receive it. I want to hear it. I love being up early. And again, Elizabeth, if you are listening this morning or watching, thank you. I'm glad that we have connected. I'm so glad. I love it, man. I run to people. That's the first time that's happened in a minute, actually. But there was a time where it seemed like it was happening all the time where I was running into people like, oh, Nate, I didn't know where you was, man. I didn't know what you're on the air. Yeah, I'm on the best radio station in the world. Send Digital Media. You know what I'm saying? NathanIvey.com is the best in the world. It can't get no better than that for me. All right, don't forget this weekend, make sure you plug in with Miss Ebony J on Facebook for the Queen Awards. We talked with her yesterday, and I thought it was a great conversation. Well worth your time. If you missed it, we talked to her at 9 a.m., so about 90 minutes into the conversation. You know what I'm saying? You can check it out. And I thought it was an excellent conversation. I 100% support her, and I think it's a great endeavor. So if you feel the same way, check her out. If you don't, then don't. You ain't got to tell me all about it. Just do you. It's all you got to do. That's it. At some point this morning, I want to talk about Monique. I just think it's interesting. She explained why she calls her husband daddy. Is that strange? Now, outside of a sexual kind of connotation, because we know what happens in the bedroom happens in the bedroom. We already know that. You know what I'm saying? What you do when you're doing what you do is up to you. I get it. But she refers to her husband as daddy. Like, just, okay, daddy. Just, they eating dinner. He's like, hey, can you pass me salt? Here you go, daddy. Yeah, she went on a podcast and was talking about it. And I guess people were questioning it, like, you're a grown woman, you're 50. Why are you calling your husband daddy? Like outside of the bedroom. Like in the bedroom, some women like that kind of stuff. It is what you is. I ain't here to judge you. I've been there. I ain't here to judge you. I'm not here to judge you. But just walking around like everyday life, like, damn, babe, where's the remote control? Here it is, daddy. What the hell is this? Coming to America? I like this. But people question her. Like, why would you do that? And I thought her answer was quite interesting. We may get into that. 50 Cent said he turned down $1 million from Trump. I don't believe him. I don't believe a damn thing 50 Cent says. I'll be honest with you. I don't believe a damn thing that brother has to say. That's just me. Ever since he lied on Floyd Mayweather didn't need you to start TMT. Knock it off, 50 Cent. The brother's successful by a lot of people's standards in a lot of different ways, but I don't believe it. Did Trump really offer him $1 million? Maybe. Maybe he offered him like $10. He might have offered him $10 to do an endorsement, but $1 million, I don't see it. Miss D writes, greetings, Nate and the Choppers with a Z. Hold on, where is he? Yeah. Majestic writes, good morning, folks. Tracy writes, hi. Ray is in the house. Thank you for your support. She writes, grand risings. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Happy Friday. We made it. We did. Woo, we did. Yesterday was rough. Kinda. I mean, it was not rough on us. It might have been rough on the Sittenfield family. And it was rough on like a member of city council. Like if you're close to him and you're on city council, it was rough on you. For us, it was interesting in the month. Like, what? Damn, woo, they're doing that. Who's going to jail next? Who's the FBI targeting now? You know they target. What other governmental bodies are they looking at? Are they looking at the Cincinnati School Board? Are they looking at the Hamilton County Commissioners? I mean, who's next? Who's next? I'm about that life now. I mean, my nose wide open. I'm like this. Who's next? I want to see. Is that the reason why things been so effed up for working class people in this country? Or shall I say in this county, in this city? Because legislators have been enriching themselves? I don't know, homie. We'll find out. Jane Rice, good morning. Deborah Rice, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Pat Rice, good morning. Sharp Rice, TGIF, Nate and the Choppers. Brian Rice, good morning. Hashtag GSW. Hashtag next man up. Yeah, y'all did lose y'all lost a dog. Ain't no next man up, Brian. I mean, that's the mentality. But you can't replace a brother like that. You can't replace him. He's one of the best two-way players, if not the best two-way player in the game. I would say he is. And he's a 3-time champion. Y'all can't replace that. I feel for the brother, man, because that happens a lot. I'm talking about Klay Thompson. If you don't know, he tore his Achilles. He is done. Anybody ever injured their Achilles? I did, for a good reason. I injured my Achilles for a good reason. I never got it diagnosed. I might have had a very, very small tear or strain on it. Oh my God, it's the most incapacitating injury that you could ever have. An Achilles injury. Like, it really is your Achilles. You can't walk. You can't do nothing. So my son is, I don't know, he might be 1 or 2 years old when this happened. I'm downstairs. He's upstairs. I thought he was asleep. Any parent will understand what I'm talking about. I'm downstairs. I'm chilling. I hear him coughing and choking. I jump up so quickly to run up the stairs that I didn't even realize I was in pain until like sometime later. And I think I went from 0 to 100. Like, I got upstairs in record time. Like, where was the Guinness Book of World Records, people? Because that was the fastest that a father has ever moved in human history. And, you know, any parent knows what it is. You think your kid's in distress, so you hear him choke, you jump quick, right? So I went from literally chilling, like, Netflix and chill, Netflix and chill, Netflix and chill, to literally up in his room like in an instant. Straight flash, black flash. So you would have been proud of me. And I realized like a day later, like, wait a minute, what's up? It was my left Achilles. It took forever to heal too, man. And that was just like a strain. I can't imagine like ripping that mofo off the bone. Shh. He's done. Where's my fork at? He's done. Stick a fork in him. He's done. He's done. There go your championship hopes. Can you say LeBron James, Brian? Where you at, B? LeBron James? Let me hear you say it, Brian. Where you at, B? Say it with me. LeBron James. Can you say 5? That's my Shannon Sharp impersonation. Can you say 5 of them sucker juckers right there? That's my Shannon Sharp right there. It's a good one, isn't it? 5 coming up. That's right. Ain't nobody stopping the king. I only said it because I'm not in the NBA. If I was in the NBA, I ain't calling another man a king of nothing. Where I'm in there, king will sit your ass down. I don't give a damn how many rings you got. I would never do it. I don't understand these NBA dudes. I'm like, yeah, LeBron's a king. He might be when I leave. But you ain't the king when I'm in there. I don't care if I was a role player or not, but I'm not an NBA. I'm not in the NBA, so I go along with it. Hey, listen, enough of me and my hijinks. I know you're sick of me already, right? And we just getting started. We only, 45 minutes in? Just imagine how tired you're going to be of me in about 2 hours. You're going to be sick to death of me. So to kind of break up that monotony a little bit and kind of put that off, let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, good brother.
Hey, Stefan, what's up, man?
Man, I can't call it, man. My fault. Good morning, Facebook viewers that's tuning in this morning. Y'all my fans. Y'all my fans, man. Y'all true fans, man. Hey, brother, man. Not this again, man. I heard you say LeBron James, right? You said that, right?
LeBron James, yeah.
Well, let's do this one. PG, his ass going to jail too. Put that in there too. They all crooks. That's what they is in suits. That's what they is. Doing deals behind our back. They dirty, man. The garment is dirty, brother. The garment is dirty. The garment need to be washed through all these politicians, man. I'm going to run for council too, Nate. Nate the Great. I'm going to run too, brother. And I'm going to tell him the truth. Any candidate that's running, if you never ever been down to the chamber and addressed any issue about any people concerned, if you never been in there and did that, you shouldn't even run. Because guess what? You with the games too. Because when them bags come to them, they going to take the bag, man. They don't know nothing else but take the money, man. So they got to learn how to be there for their people, man. When you go down them chambers, man, you confront them. You got to be there for your people, bro. Not just your people, all people. You get what I'm saying? On both sides, you really can't be playing the people to try to make other people rich. And look what happened. They get caught. Look what Jeff passed. We'll find out what happened to Tamaya on next week. We'll find out on that date. And that maybe determine what's going to happen with these other council members, too. Like Jeff Pastor. You know, I like the brother. But damn, Jeff, not the money. He came in 2 years. 2 years, he been in 2 years, more money already. He couldn't even wait till he got his feet. See, that environment down there, Brother Nate, is very, very contagious, brother. So you got to have the repellent on not to accept the money, man. Deal or no deal. See, that's what they was on down there, man. And that's really sad. Remember that money he was giving out, $25,000 to the ministers, Brother Nate?
I do remember the money he was giving out. I do.
He wanted it back. He want that money back for them pastors, man. He need help for his lawyer. The ministers ain't even come out and pray for him. They ain't even pray for the brother. Like, man, let's raise some money for this brother because he gave us some money a while back. The pastor was putting that money up for some return. This was the time for his return. That he needs some return off that $25,000. Man, but hold up, brother. But hold up, man. Did you read the article that on Jeff Pass? PG now. Avondale Development Corporation. He was all on their website helping them do what they do. So I was reading that. His executive director, he said, while they still have faith in City Hall, PG was all on their website. So they took PG down. First of all, you're supposed to have faith in God. You don't have faith in no system. You see how they thinking over in Avondale Development Corporation? Michelle Kearney was sitting on the board of that before she became council member. She was sitting on the board over there, ADC. They all had this all planned and mapped out what was going to happen for the ADC, more money coming in through them, playing the black people off the community reinvestment, residential, and the tax abatement, playing the community. This shit can bit them in their butt, man. It's gonna bite all. It's gonna trickle down to all them community groups, brother. Get them too. Get them all for being dirty for the community. You can't play people, man. That stuff come around and bite you back in the butt. But hold on, though. PG was telling undercover agents that I can move more votes than any single person. Wow. He was over there bragging like he was serving weight, didn't he? Didn't he say that? I can move more votes. That's right. You can, huh? Like he did it like Denzel Washington, huh? I can imagine him in the meet, huh? You telling me, huh? You can move more votes than me, huh? I guarantee I can move more votes than you and anybody on board, huh? That's how bold he was, and it's a shame, man. It's a shame, man. It's a shame. And then what else he say, bro? I wrote all this down, man, because it's like, look how arrogant they are when they get into the office, man. You sure people want to run? Because they're going to have so much pressure coming their way, they're going to understand it, man. They're going to be in the movie called Get Out Part 2 at City Hall, coming to a theater near you, brother.
He said Part 2, huh?
Yeah, hold on. PG quoted, Cincinnati believe a person using his election. He said this, but he said this after Jeff passed to get him up. This is what he said. I'm always remember this. He said, Cincinnati, we believe person using his elected office to enrich himself and his family is corrupt and unacceptable and must be rooted out. Wow. And look at him. He quoted that on Jeff Pass. And now look, we're going to quote it on him. If any person down at City Hall, I'm talking about me, PG. If I do this, I'm not PG no more. I'm rated R. He rated R now. He rated R now. Ain't no more PG.
Rated R.
Rated R. He's rated R. But hold on. PG promised votes to move projects, right, forward. He told the agent he could use zoning code. So that's what they've been doing zoning code changes in Cincinnati. He said to make it so this project could have sport gambling for the business. Wow. So now you see this, brother. What they say, they have eyes, but they couldn't see. They had ears, but they couldn't hear. And they had a mouth that they couldn't even talk. This brother had to talk for his money. He had to move his stuff around in the pack game. All this stuff got to stop, brother. And it's sad what we going 3 of them. Look, they're almost up to 4 in a minute. They're going to be a tie with Toledo, Ohio, when them council members got arrested too. So they almost a tie. They got a couple more council members to go get. The FBI, they gonna tell you nothing now. They gonna surprise us now. They gonna surprise us now, brother. See, all this stuff is really going on, man. Oh, hold up. My fault. Can't leave her out. Melvin Moore, the health commissioner. She was so surprised when she got her award. Oh, I was unexpecting this. I didn't even know this was coming. Oh, thank you, Mary Cranny, for this award. First of all, that award was for her to shut down City Hall. To shut down City Hall, to put an order in to shut down City Hall. So why? Judge Pastor changed his mind, instead of letting Chris Smitherman be his appointee. He let Wendell Young do that. You know what I mean? He said, I'm on Wendell Young to do this because Republicans turned their back on me. So all of a sudden, that's why Cranley shut it down for 30 days. So Chris Smitherman, so they can remove Judge Pastor, so Chris Smitherman can go ahead and pick who he want to pick. But Cranley doing that too. So why? So if Wendell Young a Democrat and Cranley a Democrat, shouldn't he be happy and say, "Oh, give it to Wendell so he can pick a Democrat"? Hell to the nah. They want a Republican. So what that tell you about Democrats and Republicans? That don't mean nothing. You see Cranley shooting for put a Republican there. He's supposed to be a Democrat. See the games they play, man. And if he trying to run for governor, hell to the nah. What you gonna need him for a governor? A crooked governor that will mess up the state of Ohio? And look at all the briberies up under his watch. They don't even go together, man. They don't even go together, Great Nate. They should not have that man run for run for garbage man, not for no governor. Quit playing. You know what I mean? There's a lot of trash that need to be taken out, including him, because he's wrong for doing this up under his watch, man. Yeah, and then you got on your, you know what's so crazy? They got agents watching your line, brother. Not just saying the alphabet boys. We talking about the community organizations out here. They watching what people say on here, so they do a report back. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, they doing it. Yeah. Say it again?
I said I wouldn't doubt it, man. It comes with the territory. Yeah, for sure.
Right. They doing it on your show. They do it on Lincoln's show. They're like, look at this stuff, man. Our own people doing this segregation. That's what they doing to us, brother. They doing this, man. And they supposed to help the community do better, man. How we gonna do better than these? And they trying to outdo us. Outdo the people that's really here for them. You know what I mean? Here for the ministers. The ministers doing it. All of them, man. You don't hear nothing. You don't hear nothing from these ministers. All of a sudden, y'all ooh for these councils, all this. Y'all know the dirt they've been doing for years. Y'all got degrees, man. Y'all see this stuff coming. You got lawyer degrees. You got bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, theology degrees. Y'all can't see none of this stuff coming. That's really, really wrong in society, man. These folks, they got these degrees, man. They criminals in suits, man. Yeah. And they see all this stuff coming. They could have been stopped all this stuff, dog. They let people fall on their daggone face before anything happened. They let them fall on their face. Oh, after it happened. Oh, I told them to get this stuff together. Man, stop playing these games, man. You're going to keep reporting this stuff, man, on and on, Nate. You know what I mean? As a media reporter, you're going to keep reporting this type of stuff goes on, man. It got corruption always keep happening, man. Something new keep happening up under the sun. But they say ain't nothing new up under the sun, but something new, corrupted, keep happening up under the sun. There's more stuff. Remember I told you, there's more candidates down there. More. So like what PG say, I'm going to read this again, give you a clue. PG in Cincinnati, we believe, PG quoted this, quote, using elected office to enrich himself and his family. Remember I said that. You want office to enrich yourself and family? They've been doing that down there, brother. Passing votes, voting on votes, man. I ain't gonna give you all the information. They've been voting on votes towards a family member. Talk about that. Is these council members listening, or whoever cool with council members that's tuning in? Let them know. Yeah, y'all been enriching your own family members down at City Hall and voting with your family members. They know who they are. That's violating to Ohio Revised Code. You cannot give your own family member public contracts. They doing that. But they fronting on everybody else, but ain't fronting on themselves. Like, damn, you know what? This everything is coming out the bag. Hey, Nate, let me be true now. Council Nate, let me be true what I did. Nate, this is what I did, Nate.
What's that?
Can we? No, I'm just giving you. I like how you blend it in. Hypothetically, if you sitting on council, I'm your council member. Everybody else get locked up, getting caught for bribery. So I'm saying this. So if I know I did something, but I'm fronting on everybody else, like PG just fronted on Jeff Pastor, if you're trying to enrich yourself and family, you need to outroot the corruption. And your ass, PG ass was one doing the corruption, his damn stuff. But the point I'm trying to say is, if I'm a council member sitting on board, I ain't get caught yet or hemmed up yet. But I'm still putting out a bad word about the other council members, but my own damn self as a council member. I done actually did something wrong. So y'all need to start coming up front, letting people know, yeah, I did. I fucked. Excuse my language. I effed this up. I need help. Can y'all tell me what should I do? Some of them council members right now and did that, sitting down in office right now to help their family member get enriched, and they don't want to say nothing about it until the FBI bring it up. Oh, I didn't know that was wrong. Y'all know that stuff wrong, man. Y'all been doing this for years. You only see. I ain't even lie, brother. I'm gonna let you go on this one, Nate. I'm the only brother that go down to City Hall, man, and confront them, man. Huh? I was confronting them about this Community Reinvestment Act, about this bank money. You know what I mean? Even PG said I was right. Even he said I was right in there one day in the chamber. He said, yeah, you is right, Stefan. Why they don't even bring this Community Reinvestment Act to the forefront about this banks getting sued and they're supposed to help the Black community fix up their homes, fix up their businesses, get loans, unforgettable loans, grants, and all this. But they giving the grants to these organizations, and these organizations putting the grants out like they Santa Claus. Okay, come to us, come to our program, you enroll with our program, you might be qualified for a grant. That's how they doing this with the Department of Community Economic Development down at Centennial Plaza, right there in the same complex the we sit at, but in the corner. See, them the people that's giving out these grants to the organizations, they act like I ain't know none of this stuff, man. That's why I say if people run for City Hall, you got to know the Department of Community Economic Development department. You got to know what these dudes are doing. They helping enrich their families in that department. And they come and deal with City Hall. They get a vote or get some approval. And once they get passed, that's how them organization groups get their kickback from their little checks that's coming in through the city, man. They got to deal with the Department of Community Economic Development. They know I know all this stuff, man. Like I tell a person, you running for the seat, if you don't know none of this stuff, you shouldn't be running for no seat because, damn, you corrupted too. Corrupted too.
If not corrupted, just not as knowledgeable as they need to be before they make that move. Hey, Stefan, I got to make a move, bro. I appreciate the call.
All right, brother, make that move right now, man. Let's just say, make that move. Because PG did it. He did it, brother. Watch out for the corruption, brother. It's contagious. All right, brother.
All right, take it easy. That's Stefan. Oh, man. I do enjoy when he's down at City Hall and they have like the public comment portion. I love the fact that it's televised now. I know there was some conversation about going back to that. Come on, man. We need to hear what the people have to say. It is quite entertaining. I'll say infotainment at its finest on the local level. That's Stefan Pryor right there. Appreciate the call, brother. I mean, I think it's all fair. I mean, at a time like this, you get caught with your hand in a cookie jar. It is what it is. No tears, no sympathy, aside from the families. Like I said, I hate to see anybody get caught up in the legal system, especially black folks. I hate to see anybody get caught up in the legal system, but it is what it is. Quite interesting. Now, I will tell you, full disclosure, I have conversed with PG Sinfield since yesterday's show. We have communicated. What we communicate about is between us. I won't tell you that, but just full disclosure, I will tell you that. It's quite interesting. Let's put it that way. We're living in very interesting times. Very interesting times. Somebody says the pot calling the kettle black. That's hilarious. All fair. It's all fair. I did read that quote from PG Sittenfield. I think I read it. It was between yesterday and today. There's been a lot reported, man. I mean, local media is going to be all over this, and rightly so. They should be. You're going to get the ins and outs. But let's look forward here. So in about 30 minutes, we're going to speak, and this will be our first conversation with someone who is running with city council. I said it to anybody. The door is open. I want to talk to all of the candidates on this platform. That is always my goal, and that is my goal for the council that'll be elected a year from now. Between now and next year, this is going to be quite amazing. And what I'll tell Cincinnati voters is not only do we have an opportunity to vote for a new mayor and vote for a new city council majority, I think, again, we are voting for a new council majority. So if ever there was a time for you to get involved in local politics, that time is right now. A brand new council majority, like in other years you had 2 seats or 3 seats or 4 seats. Quite frankly, at this point, there are 8 seats up for grab, the way I look at it. Really 9 seats up for grab. And it's unfortunate for Greg's Landsman that he is the only current member of city council who ever won an election for city council. Bessie Sunderman was appointed. At this point, we don't know who's going to replace Jeff Pastor. And we don't know, and if it comes to this, who's going to replace PG Sittenfield. We don't know. But let's say both of those men are replaced. Well, they could be replaced by someone who was on council before, okay? Which to me, I think that'd be a shame. I ain't hating it because I know maybe some former members of council out there, but my reflex position is I want to see something new. Don't you ever want to see something new? I want to hear some fresh voices. I want to hear some fresh perspectives. I want to hear from some folks who've never been on council before. I want a whole new everything. And we have an amazing opportunity to do just that. I'm about some all new everything type ish. And since I'm on some all new everything type ish, I want exactly what I want. I want some revolutionary type thinkers. I want some big thinkers. I want some people that are not going to be afraid to stand up to the status quo. They ain't going to be afraid of 4th Street. They ain't going to be afraid of developers. Now, I'm not looking for you to, be corrupt, obviously. But I'm looking for some people that has their eye on building a Cincinnati that's far more equitable. I'm looking for people that understand that there's 2 Cincinnatis, one black and one white, and are willing to commit to work to bridge and close that divide. I don't want to bridge. I want to close that divide. Those are the kind of people that I'm looking for as I sit here right now. If you're not on that, then stay your ass at home. We don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear no retreads. You was on council a long time ago and you got a name. I mean, do what you're going to do. But my personal feelings as I sit here right now is I'm looking for some new folks. What about you? The second thing is not only do we have a chance to vote on a new council majority, but we can rewrite the rules in which council does their business. Why don't we have a recall measure for mayor and council? Why don't we? I want to see some charter amendments on the ballot in November. I want to see some big time ballot initiatives in November 2021. I don't want to just see council and mayor. I want to see the big broad strokes because now's the time. The ground, this is a ripe opportunity in my opinion. And again, I say unfortunate for Landsman. It's unfortunate because he hasn't been caught doing anything, but he's going to get caught up with it too. Public perception is a mofo. I think it's unfair, but I think that's the reality of it. Let's go back to the phones to say good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan Ivey. This is Kelly Prather. How are you?
Hey, Kelly. Good morning.
Nathan, you are spot on when you say this is our grand opportunity for a brand new council across the board. The only member of council who I believe deserves to stay is Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney because she's new to this. She has been true to the community in her role as the CEO or editor-in-chief of the Cincinnati Herald. She's also connected to the business community by her husband, and I think that she's good. Everybody else, we just need an overhaul of city government. We need a new mayor who's going to bring transparency, accountability, integrity, and honesty. Like you said, we have an opportunity to rewrite the rules of city government. Go in and look at how individuals are appointed to these boards and these committees and change the narrative. We have an opportunity to look at how people who are sitting on these community councils and encourage people to get engaged, and people in the neighborhoods to get engaged and become members of their community councils. Sadly, in city government, what I've witnessed is we have gatekeepers and decision makers. And a lot of times the gatekeepers keep you from getting to the decision makers. And that's all by design because there's so much corruption behind the scenes. I've said for the longest that there was some corruption with these development deals. And the corruption is not limited to city government. And what I started to say yesterday when I called in is that the court system is directly involved with these developments, the corruption with the developments, and not only the common pleas court, but also the municipal court. Real quick, I want to touch on the Hamilton County Courthouse and why Hamilton County needs an overhaul. The Hamilton County Courthouse, in the municipal court, what happens is the judges are randomly assigned when you go in for evictions or just minor cases less than, I think, $14,500. Everything after that goes to common pleas court. Now, in common pleas court, the judges are assigned. And so, but the irony is, although they say that the judges are randomly assigned in the municipal court, Nathan, there are families who will tell you every time my family goes to the Hamilton County Courthouse, what happens is we get streamlined to the same judge who pretends that they know the character of our family, and they put us all in this one box, and we tend to get treated the same. So that surprised me because, again, they're supposed to randomly pick judges. You rarely see individuals from certain communities go before the honorable judges like Tyrone Yates. I like Tyrone Yates. Dwayne Mallory. You rarely see people go before those judges who are just good people. And I haven't paid much attention to Janaea. I know that I'm sure she's an awesome judge as well. But I would just like to do some court watch in her room just to see like what type of defendants they're putting before her. But in common pleas court, that's where you go for the big boy crimes. You go for felony 1 through felony 4s, and they tend to streamline the same type of crimes to the same type of judges. For instance, Patrick Dinkelactor, I'm an open book. I just wrote a book about my life, and I'm going to write about everything else I've experienced over my entire life in my series. And if I could just do a plug for my book, Nathan, I just wrote I authored my first book. It's going to be part 1 of a series of 4 books. And you may not have known that my nickname is Buffy. So my book, and Joe Mallory of the Cincinnati NAACP, he gets a plug for helping me to coin that. The title, it's called Buffy's Labor of Love, Part 1. She's resilient, meaning I bounce back. So it should be published hopefully by my mom's birthday, which is December 10th. But it's Buffy's Labor of Love, Part 1. She's resilient. Suppressed but saved by his grace. And so it speaks to the fact that we have to remain faithful. We have to rely on God when we go through extreme times. So I said that to say this. I've been back in Cincinnati and I've been witnessing so much. And, I just recently recovered from breast cancer. I told people, I said, before I came back to Cincinnati, I was a pillar of health, going to the gym all the time, never sick, but Cincinnati, coming back and witnessing what we deal with is traumatizing. And my breast cancer represented a physical manifestation of the trauma that my community has faced forever. And the common pleas court is just as culpable for that. And what I started to say is that Patrick Dinkelactor, thank God, he is not going to be reelected. I mean, he was not reelected, and he's not going to serve in the common pleas court. Every time I would go to court, Patrick Dinkelacke would just dismiss my case without even allowing me to hear it. They are notorious in the Hamilton County Courthouse for serving default judgment, rendering default judgments without even serving notice to appear before the court. And then I also talked about that antiquated court index. Nathan, if you don't go inside the courthouse, you won't ever even see the court index. And so as it relates to this development, evictions, foreclosures, the criminalization of certain people in neighborhoods who they want to get out of the neighborhood, it all happens in the Hamilton County Courthouse, and it's all by design. And so we really, like I said, we really need an overhaul of Hamilton County. But next year, we can rewrite city government. We can change it for the better, for the good of all people. And, I hate to hear that PG Sittenfield is in the predicament that he's in, but he's privileged. He is privileged. And what I would like to see, and my gripe with the media, even some of the podcasts, is we don't keep it real enough. And when people keep it real, when people keep it too real and people are too honest, they don't want to be bothered with you because you're going to cut into their money. And the reason I believe I was not elected to Cincinnati City Council, was for two reasons. That was God's way of protecting me from not being a part of this mess. But then it was also the public's way of fearing me because they know that I will expose the corruption. I'll tell the truth about what's going on down there. You need somebody down there who's going to keep it all the way real. Now, Randall
Kelly,
Wyatt of Wyatt Live.
Let me ask you a quick question, and I appreciate
Okay.
the flows. But you said that the only person you think that should be reelected on council is Jan Michelle Kearney. What about Greg Landsman? He hasn't been caught up with it. He was elected to a first term. What's your opinion of Greg?
I think Greg is a nice guy, but I think that Greg is a part of the pay to play. Now, Greg I've reached out to different council members, tried to meet with them about different things, some of my concerns in the community, and Greg did meet with me one time. Let me tell you, when I met with Greg Landsman, let me tell you what happened. I sat there with him. He gave me maybe 10 minutes and I barely got out my concerns. And then what Greg did is he said the mayor's calling me to his office. The mayor is he really didn't even give me any feedback and did not help at all. He didn't help at all. And so it was like his allegiance was to the mayor and it was not to me as a tax-paying citizen. He could not hear my concerns. Greg was also a part of the preschool promise. He also supported the preschool promise. And I don't know if he's getting money from that as well. But Nathan, just like Tamaya, Jeff Pastor, and PG were arrested, there's going to be more arrests. There's going to be more arrests. And it would not surprise me if John Cranley wasn't arrested by the end of this year.
Whoa.
And the shenanigans, the FBI, the FBI is aware of so much. My inclination, I have a strong inclination that at least 4 more people will be arrested by the end of the year.
On council or in the
people.
city of Cincinnati and government on different levels?
In the city of in city government.
In city
4
government.
more people will be arrested. Yes, 4 more people will be arrested. And I also believe Jeff Birding will be arrested because he was intricately involved in these stadium deals. So there's going to be some people, and I believe in my spirit that Jeff Birding is one of those people. He is one of the people who have been intricately involved in these different stadium deals. And there's a lot of willing and dealing, and there's a lot of corruption and collusion between city and county government. It's a mess. It is a mess, and I've been saying this all along. But what I started to say is that, Randall Wyatt, you and Randall Wyatt should really connect. I know that you all do podcasts, but you should connect because Randall keeps it all the way real. And he says things that I'm certain some of the judges, some of the attorneys who he interacts with on a daily basis, they don't appreciate. But he puts it out there too. And so, I tagged you and Randall and one of Ashley and someone else who does a podcast, Marla, and said, we really need to take a look at the Hamilton County Courthouse and speak it more plain or be more honest about what our observations, because what happens is when you're not talking about the pay to play and, you're kind of tend to lean in towards supporting individuals, what happens is it looks like you're a part of the problem. And so you're an independent broadcaster. So, and I appreciate all that you're doing, but I just think that we just need to be more honest about what we're seeing out here. I have a copy of the comprehensive annual finance report since 2001. And I've been reviewing them. I also have copies of the Department of Community and Economic Development with contractors and subcontractors. Like I said, Nathan, if you follow the money, you find the corruption. And so all you have to do is analyze those reports, look at the campaign finance reports, look at their votes, look at how they voted. And this is public record. Look at how these council members voted. And then you'll figure out who was getting paid for what. And my heart hurts for, the individuals who got caught up on this, especially the younger members of council, because I know that a part of it was learned behavior and a part of it was, just trying to make a name for yourself. But right is right and wrong is wrong. But I'm going to ask, that people continue to pray for them because it's a sad situation. It's embarrassing for the city of Cincinnati. So, we just got a lot to look at. We got to hold the banks accountable. We got to hold, these elected officials accountable. We got to hold these organizations, these 501c3s accountable. We have to hold people accountable. And in order for Cincinnati to flourish, we're going to have to continue to weed out these deep-seated, rooted seeds. And Christopher Smitherman, let me just tell you this. Christopher Smitherman, you remember he was president of the NAACP. He used the NAACP to gain the trust of the Black community, to get back on council, and then he recused himself, or he stepped down from the NAACP because the network, the Good Old Boy Network, supported him at that point to help him to get back on to Cincinnati City Council to be the lynchman for the Republican Party. And so if he does not get arrested, I believe that he's wearing a wire. I believe that John Cranley is wearing a wire, but John Cranley is on his way. They're on their way to City Hall with the handcuffs because these are criminals in office. And some of the stuff that they've done to people in this community is egregious attack on society, I know that we have the NAACP that fights civil rights violations. Some of these issues border on human rights violations. And so I thank God that he is doing a mighty thing in the city of Cincinnati. I thank God for protecting me and not allowing me to be, or not putting me on city council or some of these other positions at that time. Timing is everything, and my steps are ordered by God, and I go where he wants me to go, and what God has for me is for me. And so moving forward, I'm certain that wherever I'm supposed to be, I'm going to get there regardless. But yeah, we need to weed out all this corruption in city government. But please connect with Randall Wyatt. Listen to Randall Wyatt because he got the juice about that courthouse. And I'm praying that once they move on from Cincinnati, meaning the feds, the FBI, I pray that they go to Hamilton County next. And I would not mind giving them information that I have. So thank you so much for giving me extra time.
Thank you for the call.
Nathan, you have a wonderful day. And
You
thank
too.
you for all you do. Bye-bye.
Kelly was getting it in.
Right,
She was talking super fast. I hope you got it all in. I appreciate her. All good information. Appreciate her. Very interesting. Who's wearing a wire? What? Is there any evidence behind that? Greg Landsman? I haven't heard anything. And again, I'm not close enough to really hear anything about council, and I don't know. I mean, I'll take her for her word and her experiences. Oh, man. And you know what? This Cincinnati is not that big. I'll put it that way. I got some stories to tell you. I listen, I support anybody doing independent media, 100%. Very interesting. A lot to unpack there. John Cranley's wearing a wire. Christopher Smith is wearing a wire. I've heard people say these things. I don't really have no real insight into it. I can't tell you one way or another. What I can tell you is coming up in about, about 12 minutes away. I'm going to have a conversation. This will be our first conversation with a member of, somebody who's running for city council. His name is Reginald Harris, a.k.a. Reggie Harris. And my plan is to talk to everybody. So if you know someone who's running for city council, please let me know. Here's a picture of Reggie right there. He's running for Cincinnati City Council. So we'll talk with him at 9 a.m. It'll be a Zoom call. So I've tried to work on the technical aspect. I won't know until we go live today. I'm hoping that all my people on Spreaker and tune in will be able to hear that as well. If not, just kind of jump over. I'm not abandoning that stream. I'm just trying to work out the technical details of it. And we'll get his sense of what's happening on city council. I mean, a lot of these people were running for city council no matter what. They had already declared. And so the stuff that happened with Tamaya, and if they didn't declare, they did it behind scenes, like, hey, I'm going to do this. The stuff that happened with Jeff Pastor and now PG Sinfield is irrelevant to what their plans were anyway. So we'll find out. Let's go back to the phone, shall we? And say good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Drop. What's up, man? Or Jim?
Oh, I'm doing good.
Jim?
I'm doing good, Mr. Ivey.
What's
I
up,
gotta
Jim?
I gotta work on my voices.
Yeah, you
because,
do.
Mr. Ivey, that last caller, woo-wee. Is she a politician?
Not yet. She's running for mayor in Cincinnati.
Man, boy, I'm telling you, she passes the ear test because she could go nonstop without taking a breath. And she's selling a book. And she's dropping dimes on the mayor. And she sounds like she's clearing a path because she said only one person on the council. Now, yesterday you said 3 people, which is 1/3, right? So there's 6 other members on the council.
Correct.
And she said only one, Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney, is the only one that should stay on the council. Now, what does she know about these other 5 council members? Plus, she's on here saying that it's going to be 3-4 more people get perp walked by the feds. And she say only Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney deserves to stay on council. Now, again, Mr. Ivey, you know I'm out here on the left coast getting ready to go into COVID curfew starting tomorrow. Thank you, Gavin Newsom, our cool governor, dumbass. But Mr. Ivey, I've been listening to local Cincinnati politics for a long time. And the way all these dominoes are falling. And again, I hate to keep mentioning this one person's name, but in 2018, Mr. Ivey, during a failed run for Congress against Steve Chabot, who is now sitting in Congress right now, he ain't doing much, but he's there. Your favorite guy, as well as Chocolate Girl Wonder's favorite guy, Aftab Pureval, he was under investigation for campaign finance violations with him and his mama double dipping in the war chest. That was in 2018, Mr. Ivey. And he was deemed an embarrassment to the Democrat Party for not coming to this campaign with all his ducks in a row. So I'm just saying, Mr. Ivey, it's the appearance of impropriety. Now, again, it could be a coincidence, but the PG Sittenfeld FBI investigation began in 2018. Aftab Pureval was under investigation for campaign finance violations, messing around with that soft money, think he can just give it to his mama, and then his mama give it to him, and everything's all good. But again, Mr. Ivey, if you know how the FBI works, you know how they do it sometimes, what they call it, catch and release. You know what I'm saying?
Catch and release.
Isn't that
an ICE kind of thing? Immigration, something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, where they know someone's involved in a criminal conspiracy, but they're like, it's like we don't need them per se, but we need them to get to the big guy. So they'll release him, let him think that he's all good now, and he's the smartest guy in the world because he just got over on manipulating campaign finances, and they let him go because they have their eye on a bigger conspiracy.
You just making up
now
stuff
again.
Now. You just making up stuff,
Mr.
Now.
Ivey.
Taking it totally out of context, but okay.
No, Mr. Ivey,
yes.
I'm piggybacking on Kelly Prater's phone call.
I know, but that whole catch and release, you take it out of context. But go right ahead, brother.
Wow, how? Explain that to me.
I mean, as I understand catch and release, that was really a mantra that was used by Republican politicians. I know that Donald Trump kept saying that. And essentially what they were saying is that they were criticizing these so-called Democrat cities who were capturing people who may have committed some kind of crime. I think it had to do with immigration. And instead of incarcerating them, they were releasing them. But I thought that was all debunked. That wasn't really what was going on. Again, I'm not saying I got all the details, but I think I'm strong enough to say you're taking it out of context and kind of using it for your own purposes as it relates to Aftab Pureval. But I get it, brother. Go right ahead.
Well, okay. I hear what you're saying, Mr. Ivey, but yes, that phrase, catch and release, was also used in the context of Barack Obama's immigration policy.
Right.
But it is also used in law enforcement in the investigative process, where because you have your eye on a bigger picture, right? Like say the criminal conspiracy that's going on in the city of Cincinnati, which was brought to light by your last caller. Okay, now then you find this politician who's a rookie. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He's running for Congress, national seat, and he gets caught up. He slips up. He gets his mama involved with some soft money. He gets investigated. So they kind of like, okay, all right, this guy, maybe he didn't know what the hell he was doing, but we were also looking into some other things going on in Cincinnati. So we're going to put him back out there. We're going to put him back out there to let him think that he's good to go. Then he will lead us because he's probably under surveillance. He's probably being watched. And then he will lead us to the next guy and then the next guy and the next guy. So again, maybe Mr. Avtab Pureval has nothing to do with any of this. But all I'm saying is his mess up in 2018 when he ran for Congress with that illegal campaign finance violation, that could have been the catalyst to start the whole PG investigation. Then the other guy that was in the state Senate, then with Jeff Pastor and with Tamaya Denard. And according to Kelly Prather, Mayor Cranley is next. And everybody else on the city council except for Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney. Now, I know Jan is not the only female on the council. I know she's the only Black female on the council. So we'll see how all this goes. But I love Cincinnati politics, Mr. Ivey, because it reminds me so much of Detroit politics. But before I go, Mr. Ivey, it's Friday. I ain't got no job. Oh, that's right. I'm walking while retired. And before I go, I want to wish a happy birthday to our new 46th president of the United States. Hopefully one day he will be announced the 46th president, Sleepy Joe Biden. Happy birthday, Sleepy Joe. 78 years old. How long will you last?
Joe woke
25th
up.
Amendment. President Harris is next.
Joe woke up and beat that ass.
Huh?
I said Joe woke up and beat Trump's ass.
Yeah. So what's next?
Oh no.
But anyway, Mr. Ivey, it ain't the kind of victory that y'all wanted because, of course, Donald Trump, he just threw a monkey wrench and everything. Yeah. Y'all Democrats think y'all just gonna cruise right into 2021, just riding the wave.
You mean the peaceful transition from one administration to another? Yeah, Americans do expect that. Silly us.
Please,
thanks
Mr.
for the call,
Ivey.
man.
All right. Y'all have
Take
a good weekend, choppers. Peace out.
You too. That's Brother Drop. Y'all Democrats think y'all gonna have a peaceful transfer of power from one administration to another. Y'all got another thing coming. Now, I got Reggie Harris. He's backstage. I can see him right now. We're going to do a Zoom call in about 3 minutes. We got Tracy on the line. Hey, good morning, Tracy. Welcome to the show. Did she just hang up? She might have heard me. She might have hung up because she heard me say I had Reggie on the line, but I was going to take her call. I told Reggie we start. So I got 2 minutes for you, Tracy. If you want to get it in, I think it's enough time. Yes, no? I'll give it a second. If not, then I'll go straight to my guest. Oh, yeah. Here's Tracy. Hey, good morning, Tracy.
Real quick, I didn't know you picked up. I'm sorry. I just think it's funny that for the past 2 years, Drop's question was, where's Barack Obama? So now I'm going to ask, where's Donald Trump? Get him out of the basement. Now he's taking on the hobby of Cincinnati politics because there's nothing to talk about. There's no election to talk about. Get out of here, Drop. Go find your boy, Donald Trump, and help him with his frivolous lawsuits. Peace out.
Thank you for the call. What does Glenn say? Politically petty? Hey, it is what it is. I ain't mad at it. She kind of has a point. Talking about some Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe woke up and beat that ass. More votes than any president in American history. So the Sleepy Joe didn't really work, did it? Facts. All right, let me welcome in my guest in. We have Reggie Harris. He's a candidate for Cincinnati City Council. Hey, Reggie, how are you, man?
I'm good. Good morning, Nathan. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, man, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
It's lit this morning.
Yeah.
I hope I'm ready.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, welcome to the jungle.
Right?
Welcome to the jungle. But again, this is our first time talking, man, and I'm aware of your campaign just because I guess on social media and Facebook, maybe we're friends, have some associations, and I saw that you had announced this some time ago. And man, wow, there's a lot to talk about. As it relates to city council. But again, I always start the first way when we're first meeting somebody. Just kind of tell us about who you are. Are you from Cincinnati? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, no, I'm from the south side of Chicago, born and raised in a neighborhood called Inglewood. My family, fourth generation Chicagoan. I moved to Cincinnati 5 years ago. My husband is a professor at Miami University, got a tenure track job here. And what drew me to politics in Cincinnati is that we moved here to this city, and I love Cincinnati. We love Cincinnati. This is an incredible city with an incredible history, a rich Black history, having the first Black Cincinnati school board, being a stop on the Underground Railroad, right? Thinking about growing up and reading Toni Morrison and reading Beloved and seeing the way Cincinnati was highlighted in Beloved, right? Coming here and recognizing for someone that's moving from a city like Boston, and I've lived all over the United States, Austin, Texas, Boston, New York, Seattle, Austin, Texas, coming to Cincinnati and seeing that the cost of living for us was really affordable. And then also recognizing that there are a lot of disparities, even having an affordable cost of living. We decided to invest here. So I started working in the community of Avondale. I work for the community builders. I do the people side of development, work closely on bringing a grocery store to Avondale. I'm a therapist, a clinical social worker. I work and I have a small private practice where I see Black folks who sit at the intersection of an LGBTQ identity as a therapist, because I believe Black mental health is of the paramount importance, right? In the Human Services Chamber to ensure that social service funded at that 1.2%. I sit on the board of Equality Ohio. It's the state's LGBTQ civil rights organization. And this city has been a place that has just embrace me. Like, I've been willing to sit down my sleeves and do the work because I realized that, wow, we have the opportunity to build a city that is incredible, to build off a legacy and move it into the future. I've had the opportunity to sit down with incredible leaders and learn from them. I sit with, Iris Rowley, and we talk about the collaborative agreement and how we got there. And so I recognize that my trajectory as a social worker and seeing how when I'm trying to work and help my individual clients' lives, there's all of these like systemic policy issues that start at the local level that completely get in the way of addressing depression and anxiety, right? You can't treat those things if folks don't have housing. You can't treat those things if folks don't have like stable jobs where even if they get like a decent hourly wage, they don't have a stable schedule, right? Places like things like transportation. If you get an apartment and it's not connected to jobs, right? Which, Brother Cam Hardy has been steadfast on that. I am excited to be and to join in a movement of people that are like doing this work, bringing my expertise as a social worker with it and collaborating in creating a city that should be one of the premier cities in the Midwest. Cincinnati has all of the ingredients for it, right? So I do paint this rosy picture, but I do recognize deep systemic racism, right? Mm-hmm. And Kelly Prather was on the line before, and we've had conversations. I've had conversations with Kelly about this and witnessing it, and also witnessing the ways in which, navigating certain institutions and places and being Black just blocks the ability to, affect change. So I do go in eyes wide open with that situation. But this is also something I've been prepping for a while, right? Thinking about this, studying, going and learning campaign finance laws, and still remaining connected and rooted in the work, which is serving people, right? One of the things I say about my candidacy and being a social worker, I'm guided by an ethical code. I am a licensed social worker, right? So like, if you strip my license, I don't have a living, right? And part of what guides my license is things like integrity, social justice, dignity and self-worth of the human being, right? Competence, right? So at any moment, someone can, call on me and be like, yo, dude, you violating your social work license, right? I put myself out there, right? Because I know that that I can do that and be that voice, right? I think our city finds ourselves in a moment of deep instability. And what I recognize is that citizens are just saying like, yo, this is crazy. Like, just make things work for us. And that is getting blocked by so many shenanigans, right? But I would say that there are so many people who are on the ground doing incredible work. And my goal, my hope is to be able to collaborate and amplify and work together to a common cause, because there's just so much goodness that I truly do believe is happening at the grassroots level. So I'm gonna stop there.
Yes, it's all good. I appreciate it, man. I mean, so Reggie, are you seeking a party endorsement, or do you plan to run as an independent, or what's your plan for that?
Yeah, I'm going to seek the Democratic endorsement. I am a fourth generation Democrat. The Democratic Party is my party, but that's not to say that I'm not someone that's critical of our party, right? I think that one can fully embrace the identity of a party and also be very critical of our party, and so. I definitely do believe that for, decades and decades that the Democratic Party has taken for granted the Black voters, the work that Black voters have done. And so for me, I put myself in a situation of wanting to be someone that works to change our party in those areas, but I will be seeking the Democratic nomination.
We've had two Democrats who just this year have been accused of corruption. And here you are running for city council. There's a cloud over city council. All people who are going to be running with are going to be looked at a little bit differently. What's your opinion about everything that's been happening in terms of the corruption from City Hall? Yeah. Because you want to work at City Hall.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say that, 2 Democrats were accused of corruption. Also, a Republican was accused of corruption, and a Republican at the State House was accused of corruption. So I don't think that any party has a monopoly on corruption. I think the conversation really is about systems and systems and accountability, and how just the very process of governing allows for things to move fast without a lot of eyes on them, right? And so what we see is that if we are thinking about development and development deals, and we're not putting in checks and balances where there are a number of eyes and processes and steps that people have to go through to move development deals through government, then that is a breeding ground for corruption. So I'll use for an example, the work that I do, and there's a project with Cleveland, we're seeking $35 million from HUD, right? When I'm working $35 million budget and I am like thinking about partners and figuring out who I'm gonna pay with this money, that budget goes through a community group. That budget goes through a community legislative body group. That money goes through the neighborhood CDC. That money goes before city council. That budget goes through a number of people. And then there are a lot of questions when it gets to HUD. HUD is like, did you do all of these checks and balances? There are systems in place that mitigate the possibility of corruption. And I think that in local city government, we have to adopt those policies and not view community engagement, not view slower processes as a hindrance to progress, but as a necessary tool to progress so that people believe in development, right? I personally believe everyone wants something beautifully built in their community. People want retail, great housing. They just don't want that to displace them. They just don't want that to, line the pockets of, a few businesses or a few wealthy people. They want it so that they live in a community that they can be proud of. And we can do both. It is possible, but there has to be systemic change. And I think the lucky thing is that we don't have to recreate the wheel. Like, these things exist in the world, right? Like, this is not like, oh my God, how are we going to figure this out? We can do it.
Well, Reggie, that's interesting, because I would love that. That seems like an ideal situation. So how do we do that? How do we develop? Because you're right. I think most people want development. How do we develop without displacement? Like if you're on city council, if you're elected a year from now, what's your plan to further develop without displacement so that more people in the city can enjoy and experience the renaissance that's happening in so many neighborhoods?
That's a great question. So the first thing you have to do is that every development deal, right, when you look at the amount of rent and you look at the cost of the deal, there is an understanding of how that number of an investment in the community will shape the people who live there, right? So as a city, we can set up a framework that says that if this is a neighborhood that is in this income bracket, and these indicators, right, rate of employment, rating of schools, connection to transportation, if these indicators say that this is a neighborhood that is likely to experience displacement, then we can require a certain number of extremely low income, and then workforce housing developments in developments, right? Because we use the term affordable housing like as this umbrella term, but it's too generic, right? When we talk about affordable housing, we're talking about like tiers and levels of housing. So then we say, oh, this neighborhood meets the indicators for potential displacement. So developments for this time period need to be a balance of these incomes. Commercial needs to be a balance of necessary services in the community and then amenity services, right? And you just have a framework that checks, right? Part of this is just doing a quality of life plan. Avondale just did this, where the community spends a year engaging and communities develop their own plan for their community that gets adopted by council and that developers then have to adhere to, right? So it's about formalizing these processes and valuing those works, because when you do that, it naturally just slows down process. So money doesn't flow as fast, but money flows correctly. Money flows in the direction of impact and true revitalization.
So, and I like what I'm hearing, and people have said that. So let me ask you this. So to what degree do you believe that community councils should have a say-so on proposed developments in their neighborhoods? So right now, these various community councils really have no say-so. No real mandatory say-so when it comes to city council. They might make a suggestion, but city council doesn't necessarily, they're not mandated to really go with that suggestion. Some have suggested that they should change that balance where, let's say you're the community council, and let's say Avondale, since you brought it up. Mm-hmm. If there's going to be a big time development, then what the community council in Avondale says is what city council should actually do. What kind of council person would you be in those kind of situations? And do you think that, as some have suggested, I think there's ideas on the table right now, they really haven't been adopted by city council, that those councils should have some mandatory say-so in terms of the future development?
I would agree with that 100%, unequivocally. Yes, absolutely. I think that community councils and those governing bodies should have more influence and more say-so on development deals that go in their backyards. And I also think that these councils should have the support to make sure that the bodies, the people that are elected to those bodies are representative, right? And I'm seeing in the comments that people are saying that, they're saying this thing like, well, this didn't happen in OTR and this didn't happen in the West End. And you're exactly right, because there has to be a connection and a willingness to connect to those council and to listen to people's voices. I think one of the things that's different about me is that in my work right now, that's what I do. That's what I have to do. As the director of community life for a nonprofit affordable housing developer, when I'm developing programs, and here's the other piece, right? You can't think about development and housing without thinking about supports for people, right? As we transform land and as we transform geography, we have to also create the opportunities for people to experience transformation in and of themselves, right? So you have to have people in office that value this, that truly value the input of the community and are used to working and hearing and negotiating, because it's not easy, right? It's not easy. I'll just take you a great example. I was at a community gathering then, mentioning Cleveland because I'm doing some work in Cleveland, and we're proposing a redevelopment of this set of buildings. And this current set of buildings was built like in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, and it had like they have basements in them. And this woman who's been there for 30 years was like, listen, whatever you do, don't take out my basement. Well, the plan was taking out basements because we just haven't built buildings with basements in that setting in like 30 years. Like, it just isn't done. So what happened was that there's this real exchange of like the developer listening to this woman, and she's like, this is important to me and this is why. And then the developer explaining why this is the case, and then arriving at a resolution of some like shared community space that changed the plan, right? Like, it happens, it can happen. We just have to have the will of both parties, and you have to have people in place that are used to navigating and negotiating those situations. And I recognize that that example was like a small sort of detail, but just showing that these conversations can impact longer outcomes down the line.
Got a question from the audience. Ron P wants to know, what's your thoughts on gentrification? There's a lot of concern about that in the city of Cincinnati right now. Yeah, so I have two different definitions of gentrification and revitalization. So I believe in revitalization. So I define gentrification as developer and financially led building of buildings. So I think that gentrification gets you to that thing I call Anytown USA. So, when you're driving and you go in the city and you can be at Kansas City, Cincinnati, St. Louis, Columbus City, and it all looks the same. To me, that's gentrification, because that is a financial model. We know if you have X demographic of people and X population, if you put these stores in, you'll make money. Revitalization is people-led, community-led, in collaboration with development in city, right? So that is, again, I'm thinking about the work of Avondale Town Center. Right, Avondale Town Center for me really is a piece of revitalization. Right, part of my charge there is thinking about the commercial development and the number of Black-owned businesses that we are bringing into Avondale Town Center. Right, is an example of revitalization. The community said we want a Black business district. The community said we want a laundromat. We want a health center. We want a grocery store. And then we had to bust our butt. We had to bust our butt to do it. It wasn't easy. But it is listening to the will of the people. So we did that. We are getting a grocery store, right? We have Black chiropractor. We have Black barbershops. We have a Black-owned daycare center. So to me, that is an example of revitalization that's very different from gentrification. And I absolutely do believe, and I see a question about community benefit agreements, because what that does is it just makes it very plain and very clear, the relationship, and holds some accountability. And I think that community benefit agreements can look in a lot of different ways, right? Community benefit agreements don't always have to be about an exchange of money. Community benefit agreements can be about a promise of, participating civically, a promise of, partnerships and sponsorships, right? That they can be really tailored to the capacity of said business, right? And then also the needs of the community. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard some different things about the Avondale Town Center. You might be closer to it than I am, but I've heard that, listen, I'm all about development and revitalization and things like that. Personally, I believe that the health of Avondale, when Avondale is healthy and thriving, when Reading Road is electric, even in the evening with businesses and people and commerce, that'll be great for the city of Cincinnati. But I've heard it's a mixed bag in terms of what I've heard with Avondale. So I've seen the new buildings, but I've also heard that, in terms of the pricing of it, it just kind of prices out a lot of minority and Black-owned businesses. So while the opportunity appears to be there, because, the cost might be so high, you're not really getting the opportunities that perhaps people think it is. Have you seen this or heard that?
I mean, I think that, trying to open a business, and particularly in a pandemic, is hard in general. I mean,
this is before the pandemic. I heard this before the pandemic.
But I would just say even now, what I can respond to is the number of Black-owned businesses that we are supporting and that are opening, right? So I have not experienced or seen Black-owned businesses not be able to make it in this environment. I think that what we are seeing is that there are some strengths in some people's business plans, some people's, ability to like access capital. But I think that to your point, could there be more support? So like if you have a business owner that has a really great idea, but isn't as far along in terms of the development, how can we like connect them and help them build out those plans? Yes, for sure. Right. There have been folks who have come in with great ideas, but didn't necessarily have all the tools in place. But what I know and what can be is that for businesses that are there, and that there are a lot of Black businesses that are there, we've been able to help them, engage them, and move them forward.
Do you know what the occupancy rate is over there at the Avondale Town Center?
I don't want to. I don't want to start making up numbers and you correct me wrong. You incorrect me, but I can get back to you on that for sure.
Do you know if it's beyond 50% without being specific?
Yes, it's beyond 50%.
Beyond 50%, yeah. Because that's what I was heard initially. Like, I was getting these critiques from Black business owners, like, "Hey, we love it, but we can't afford it." And I guess obviously you need to be able to have the capital to do anything, but sometimes they have these new developments and they say, "Hey, it's for everybody." But, the price is just not in line with what a lot of, starting, startups, emerging, and even minority and Black-owned businesses can actually afford. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's there. I hear this about Over the Rhine all the time. Oh, yeah, it's down there. But when you get down there and look at the fine print and realize what the price is, you can't afford it. So it's like, is there really an opportunity? But I want to go back to what you said about your definition when it comes to gentrification. I think that's interesting. I mean, for me, it's all about intentionality and impact.
Agree.
Right? You know, like if you're building the development with a certain intentionality, right? Yeah. Then you're probably going to arrive at a different conclusion. And then no matter what your intentionality is, if the impact is in fact that it gentrified, then you made a mistake.
Yeah. You're exactly right about that. But I think that you can go in with intentions and then also go in with safeguards in place, right? And that comes for me in terms of like resident services, right? Like, how do you ensure that when you go into this building and you create these structures, that the folks who are living in those buildings are connected to services and supports that allow people to really live in the community, not just sort of go in and out and they do their grocery shopping or their socializing in other neighborhoods because they don't feel welcome, but there's an intentionality to make people feel like they belong in that space.
Yeah, but for me, Reggie, nothing makes you feel like you belong more than you own it.
Than home ownership, yeah.
Yeah, you own it. Yeah. So we need to have the kind of programs and policies that transform people from renters to owners, and then from businesses where they're not just renting for the rest of the life of their business, where they're actually, in a situation where they own those buildings that they're operating out of. And that's the kind of intentionality, that I'm thinking that we need to stop what everybody, I hear a lot of people criticizing in terms of gentrification. It's about ownership. Yeah. There's no more of a serious anchor to a neighborhood than it's yours, right?
I would say this thing about home ownership, and one of the things that I know deeply about home ownership is that my grandmother bought her house on the south side of Chicago in 1970. My mother still lives in that house. I was raised in that house. And the thing that I say about home ownership and why that is so important and so critical is that when there is an asset like that in a family, it saves so many people's lives. And so I cannot tell you like how many family members and friends who are down on their luck were able to bounce back, and they were able to be able to like navigate not getting tied up in certain systems because someone in the family owned a home. They could go in, they could sort of get themselves together and come back. And so that piece really stuck with me, and seeing how like over the years, so many people benefited because my grandmother owned a home, right? So that I take that very seriously, and it absolutely is a huge component in neighborhood stability.
Yeah, that's a real serious issue before council. WCPR was just talking about it 2 days ago. They published an article written by Lucy May, in which they were talking about whether Black people can succeed in Cincinnati, whether this is the type of environment, this is the type of city where you can come here and actually thrive and succeed. And they put together a series of charts. One of them was the percentage of home ownership, and Black home ownership compared to white home ownership is like 40% difference, which, you know, is, for me, city council members should be all about closing those gaps. When Black folks, working class folks have more, then we know what to do with our money, right? Nobody can do with your money, Reggie, and your household more than you can, right? Yeah. The best way to help you is not to give it to me and then I give it to you, but it's to give it to you and then you can take care of you and your family, right?
And Nathan, I would say to that point, I so fundamentally believe in this idea. And so, you know, part of the work that I've done is this creation of this thing called an economic mobility fund, where we just give out mini grants. One of the things that just drives me crazy is this idea of thinking that people who have low socioeconomic status or folks we call poor are just irresponsible with their money, right? The idea is that like people need money, right? And I look at my life and I look at like friends of mine who have been successful, and the common denominator is that at some point in our lives, people just gave us money. Right? Whether that be they paid for a tuition or they paid for a summer program or they did something, people just invested in us, right? And I absolutely do believe and then have modeled that in terms of like, give people money and let them do what they know what they need to do with their lives. And I tell you, the results have been people have, you know, started LLCs, paid off debt, you know, made, you know, really sort of like complicated plans of like filing bankruptcy and then entering in this program. Access to capital is how folks grow and is how folks, you know, invest in themselves and their families and their communities. So, I mean, we are completely aligned in that thinking.
Somebody in the Chop Shop wrote, and, you know, it's going to come with the territory. Somebody says, he's a developer and running for council. No, sir, he couldn't get my vote. So do you feel like there's an unfair stigmatization about development? And again, talk about your resume again. Are you a developer or is that the lane that you're working in? And what kind of development, just so people know?
Let me let people know for sure. I do think that that's unfair, but I will say it. So I work for a nonprofit real estate development company. We do affordable housing. My role is what I call the people side of development. So I think about, I develop, I implement, I manage all of the social supports that need to be in place for that development to be successful. For example, right, if we do a development and we know that we are serving a number of residents that have children and young children, we are going to provide supports to early education, be it directly finance it or have a early education specialist that is in the office that works with residents. If we know we're dealing with mental health issues in a community, having a mental health case manager that is able to connect to residents, to support residents through that work, because we also think about housing stabilization and preventing eviction, right? So we just don't want folks to be able to get in apartments and then all of a sudden they get kicked out because of something that could be solved with basic social supports. That is what I do for a real estate development company as a clinical social worker. So yes, do I work for a development company? Am I a developer? I guess you can say yes. But the lane and the lens that I work on and work in is through those people supports, right? I think the other thing about that is that you have to look at a history of what people do, the projects that they work on, right? And the transparency of the work that they do. And so for me, all of that work is absolutely, you know, out in the open, right? You know, we are at every sort of like, you know, funding event, and we are, you know, in front of the community, held responsible. I'm at the Avondale Community Council, you know, general body meeting every month, hearing about what's going on, responding to what's going on. I like to think that like the type of development that we do is a model for what development should be, one that is accountable to people, one that thinks about people, and one that the process is transparent.
So two things, Reggie. One, what is your website? People are asking, what is your website? They want Where can they go online to read more about you? And then secondly, having talked about gentrification and development, what's your take on FC Cincinnati and what's happening in the West End? If you were on city council, how would you have voted?
So I don't want to say if I was on, like, how I would have voted then, because I wasn't on there now. This is what I will say. I would say that I think the process, and like I said early, moves too fast. It moves too fast. And I think that, I worked with people who did the community engagement piece on there. And there were folks in the West End that were interested in the stadium being there, but they just didn't want to be displaced, and they wanted to have some benefit from the stadium being there. And that didn't necessarily show up. Again, the process did not have enough eyes and enough checks and balances on it to ensure that all parties were represented and that they were seen there, right? You asked about my website is reggieforcincinnati.com. And then also someone said it's a conflict of interest. It absolutely is. If I am lucky enough to be elected, I will leave my role at the Community Builders. I had this conversation a year ago with my organization about that and arrived there. So I would not be working for them because it isn't. Absolutely, it is a conflict of interest for sure.
So I'm a little curious. I mean, why are you hesitant to talk about how you would have voted, Reggie? I mean, if you are elected, for two reasons. I bring it up because, particularly for this audience, there's a lot of strong opinions about FC Cincinnati and what it did and the impact that it will have. Yeah. And the process itself. If elected to city council, you'll be in a position to actually vote on these things. Yeah. And that's why I asked that question. So I ask again, I mean, are you aware of the details of it?
Yeah, I'm aware of it. So there's a couple of things that I think that voters will always get with me. I'm always going to be thoughtful. And I'm always going to listen to voters and constituents. And I just don't believe in being the person that's like, I got this quick opinion and I'm just going to say it. And this is what it is, because you want your elected officials to actually listen to folks, right? So here's what I think. I think ultimately FC Cincinnati having a stadium in the West End is a benefit to the city. I think that what was missing was that there was a lack of transparency and care for the people that were living in that place, in that space. I think that we did not have to have a situation where people are evicted from their homes and being, toyed around with. I think that there could have been more clear connection to jobs and economic opportunity in that situation. So that is where I am now, right? And that is my thinking on this. Yeah.
So you're saying, so let me try to get to an answer to my question here. So you're saying that big picture, you believe that FC Cincinnati was good for the city, even though it displaced people and could be a modern day example of gentrification. You believe that it was the process in which it was done. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, that I fully disagree with.
Okay, but if you were on city council at that time, it sounds like, and again, don't let me put words in your mouth. I'm trying to get at something here. It sounds like you would have been in favor of the deal, but you would have wanted more equity for the people there. Because you talk about transparency. I mean, it was in the news for months and months and months, and we're still talking about it. At the end of the day, it was the people, the men and women that comprised city council that made their decision as to whether they thought the community benefits agreement was good enough and whether the project should move forward.
Yeah, I would say, Nathan, I think at the end of the day, I would not have voted for it because it just didn't center people in the way that I believe that was centered. And I think that would have been a hard vote because I also could see the benefit of it, right? And if it had been done correctly, but just me being who I am and my gut and the work that I do and knowing the centering people, and the actual fallout that, as a person who does affordable housing had to be involved in terms of finding people homes. No.
Okay. Well, Reggie, I'll give you the final word, man. And hopefully this will just be the first in a series of conversation. I mean, we're 12 months away from the actual election, but I really appreciate your time this morning as sort of an opening introduction with yourself and the audience here. But I'll give you the final word to just, why should people consider you for city council?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I've been looking at the comments about it. And when someone said, am I a fighter? Absolutely. Yes, 100%. Like, let's do this. And someone said, he's not from here. What does he know about this city? I think that is a strength. Like, I chose Cincinnati for all of its strengths. And also Cincinnati is a city like other cities that are impacted by the same issues, right? And so a strength of mine is thinking about what a city, how do we like collectively build towards a better future for a city, for someone that's not wrapped up in decades of old baggage, right? I am a worker. I am someone that is committed to process and committed to authenticity and honesty. And I'm also someone that is fine getting it wrong. That I am someone that can say, when I'm wrong, and I will do better. I'm also someone that believes elected officials don't always have to have the answer. Right? When you see someone that's like, I have an answer for this, I have an answer for that, I have an answer for this, that means they haven't listened to people in the community and the people closest to the problem. Right? So I come with a framework of listening to folks and then developing the plan for how do we move that forward. My ask of you is just to continue to watch me, continue to engage me, continue to watch our campaign, continue to ask those questions. And also, I'm not going to be everything to everyone. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I get that, right? Like some people are just not going to, I was getting ready to say F with me, but some people are just not going to mess with me. And that's fine. But I will always listen to constituents and will always keep it 100. And I also do believe this, and some people may not agree with this, in just a certain level of decorum, right? Coming at people correctly and with respect. I can disagree without being disagreeable, right? Because I think that when you have tough conversations with people, the relationships matter. So Nathan, if you and I are on, opposite sides of the aisle, right? And we are sitting here, but we respect each other. And I have to tell you, Nathan, you got it wrong, right? There's a way in which you're going to hear me if I always come with your respect. And so this idea of just like, this banner and just putting people on blast for the sake of putting people on blast, it's not how I do and not how I roll. So I'm looking forward to, someone said Chicago almost slipped out of him. I'm looking forward to continuing to get to know folks and for folks to get to know me, and to see that I'm just real. I'm just real, and I am interested in building a inclusive, dynamic Cincinnati, right? That like also reflects a city that's like damn near half Black, right? Bringing like showing the city like the greatness of the Black experience. Yeah. So yeah.
One last very quick question. So let's say you in 12 months you are elected to city council.
Yeah.
Let's say 6 months after that, you get a phone call from some big time developers and they want to give you 10 grand in exchange for your vote. What do you do, Reggie?
I say no. I say absolutely no. No. I mean, that's just a no-brainer, right? And in the next coming days, where our team is publishing a set of guidelines that we're even going to adhere to for our campaign to show transparency as well. So
okay. Well, Reggie, thank you so much for your time. Again, one more time for the website so people know how to find you online.
ReggieForCincinnati.com.
All right, ReggieForCincinnati.com. Reggie, thank you for your time.
Nathan, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, most def, man. Most def. Again, hopefully that's not the last time. Hopefully, I mean, this is really, really early, but this is within my style. I'll take them as they come. And if you know someone who's running for city council, I would love to talk with them first. I plan on talking with all the candidates. I don't care if you have an endorsement or you don't have an endorsement. I don't care if you have a lot of money, you don't have any money. It makes no difference to me. If you're brave enough to put your name out there and you feel like you have something to share, well, I feel like here on the Nathan Ivey Show, we'll give you some time to get a sense of who you are. My goal with that is that I want us to be educated when we vote. My listeners are voters, not just voters, but influencers. So when you go in to cast your vote a year from now, you will be able to say that you at least had a first introduction with Reginald Harris. So I appreciate it. And I appreciate him answering that question about FC Cincinnati. You hear me ask that question to everybody because, it was just a polarizing development. And I want to know where people stand on it. Keep it real. I mean, there is no right or wrong answer in my perspective. It's just all about whatever your answer is. That's what it comes down to. So let me throw the number back up there, 513-873-7134. If you like to share your thoughts this morning. And it's mixed. I mean, that's what you can expect. A lot of folks are like, hey, Reggie who? Tamaya69 writes, Reggie is a plant, but he is not working it right. Come back to the church. You are blowing your cover. What? What? I'm not gonna ask him that. Y'all crazy. I'm not asking that man that. No. I'm not gonna ask them no silly ass questions now. Carolyn writes, when the call disconnects, she's jumping back over. I get it. Thank you so much. Let me see. What do you think here? Professionalism with your guest name. Well, hopefully I was. Hopefully I try to be fair. I mean, again, I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. It doesn't matter. I know you or I don't know you. This is about the people. This is about people getting a chance to, and really it's about them more than me. It ain't even about me at all. It's really about you getting a chance to come before this audience, us getting a first look and hear from you and getting a sense of who you are and, what you propose. So I think we got a nice little opening introduction. And hopefully, again, the door is open. Hopefully, and I'll be circling back around between now and, again, a year from now, because we're 12 months away. But this is going to be fascinating. I love city politics. It's always fascinating to me. But with everything going on, it's going to be even more fascinating. Now, for all we know, Reggie may be on city council. And there's a long shadow that's been cast over City Hall because of everything that has happened most recently. And it's quite interesting. I want to talk about two things so my family knows. You need to know this. You do know that in the state of Ohio that there is now a curfew put in place from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. And if you live in Hamilton County, what you need to know is that the Hamilton County Sheriff says that they will enforce it. Hamilton County Sheriff's Office will be enforcing the curfew. That's right. Jim Neal, who is in his lame duck session, he's soon to be replaced by Sherman McGuffey, has said that his sheriff deputies will be enforcing the curfew. Okay, there are some exceptions. Third shift manufacturing is not affected. If you're working, it's not affected. If you got an emergency or something like that, you need medical care, you're not going to be affected. If you're getting groceries or going to the pharmacy, it's not going to be affected. Although, what grocery store? Well, I think there are grocery stores open till midnight, right? Is Kroger open till midnight? I think they used to be. I'm not sure right now. If you're picking up carry out or drive through or what appears to be, and I'm reading into it, you're doing ride share. So you work for Uber or Lyft or DoorDash or GoPuff or something like that. You're going to be cool. And you can still take your dog for a walk outside at 10 p.m. Some of you dog owners, man, 10 p.m. I ain't walking nothing but me at 10 p.m. Y'all got much more commitment than I do. You got some of you dog owners. I got a video actually that's gone viral of a man that jumped into the water to save his pooch from an alligator. And I thought, damn, he better than me. I ain't doing that. He's just going to chalk that up to Darwinism. You want to see this? This is crazy. I mean, it's a Friday. We only got about 15 minutes left in the show. I ain't doing it. But this just goes to show you the love and dedication that dog owners have to their animals. You want to see this? This is crazy. And then there is some extreme language, so I'll give you a heads up on it. Would you risk your life for your pooch? You better than me. I'm going to be like, damn, that was so messed up. Y'all see this? I'm going to roll tape on this. You got to check this out. This is not me. Look at this. Look at that. That's a hero right there. Look at him fighting the alligator. That's a little baby alligator. Now you got to get his fingers out of the alligator's mouth. Nah, bro, I'm sorry. Y'all may not like you, but you's a goner. What's the term? It's a wrap. It's a wrap. That's a little baby alligator. I mean, that ain't nothing. You don't get no props for that. You jumped in there with a little baby alligator. Get out of here. If it was a big old full-grown man size, you wouldn't have jumped in there and did a damn thing. But I only played it because that's the dedication that people have to their animals. I think it's a beautiful thing. It's called love. I ain't doing it. Y'all go way too far. Y'all go way too far with this animal thing, but don't get me talking. I'm going to turn you off. You can be like, he don't like dogs? I don't like him. Okay. It's not that I don't like him. I ain't putting my life on the line. It's supposed to be the other way around. Man's best friend. Man's best friend. I'm the man, the human. So it is. So I said all to say that you can still take your dog for a walk outside during the curfew. If you're out doing a curfew tonight after 10 a.m. and the boys roll up behind you, it's probably Jim Neal and the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department. They're going to stop you and ask you where you're going. And all you got to do is show them your McDonald's bag. Oh, I went to the drive-thru. Oh, okay, you're cool. I mean, what kind of curfew is that? Oh, my God. COVID is winning, smiling somewhere like we winning. Good morning to you. Jordan writes, I don't think it will be enforced, but citizens, business owners who violate, they're focusing on the business owners because some of these people with these bars and stuff like that in restaurants, they're trying to make their money. I get it. I ain't gonna hate on these folks. They're trying to pay for their bills, and there's a brand new Xbox out there. Got to get that Xbox and put food on the table and pay employees and things like that. That's why I'm mad at Congress. I'm mad at Congress because they're about to go for another holiday resource and they didn't drop any cash off. Where is the stimulus money? Where is the stimulus money? Show me the money, Congress. Christmas coming up, Christmas gifts. You know what I'm saying? Christmas dinner. December bills. Can you say bills in December? They don't stop. Now that's a hell of a Christmas if all of your bills were suspended for a month. Now that's Christmas. Then I'll believe in Santa Claus. Not really. I'm not in the mood for that nonsense. You see that video? Would you jump in there and save your pooch from an alligator? Hell to the no. I'd be like, damn, that's messed up. And then you just go to the store, get another one. Go to the store, get another one. As simple as that. Coming up, I may talk about Monique. This is of lesser importance, I know, but it's a Friday and it's on my radar screen. But Monique provided further clarification as to why she calls her husband daddy. Any married women out there? Do you refer to your husband as daddy outside of the, we'll say, intimate settings? Because what you do in that intimate zone, that's between you and your boo, right? That's between you. I ain't trying to talk about that. But she does it just like, hey, honey, pass me the salt. Here you go, daddy. Where did you do that at? But her clarification, I thought, was interesting. It's a sign of the times. And we'll talk about it after this call. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
What the hell, daddy? Monique? What the? Nate, throw 2020 out, man. You see what's happening, don't you? What the hell, man? Now, I like it when a girl says daddy with a Z, but I was married for I don't know how long. She never called me daddy. I can remember many times asking kids, like, what did mommy say? But that's in a different context. But no, daddy? Look, she's like, nigga, here go the salt. Take this. That's about the best I got. Like, why you asking me? Ask the kids to get up. You know how it is, man. Daddy, see? That's why maybe that's stuff like that. Like, why do you don't have a contract? And by the way, what happened to Steve Harvey? He played the good Negro for a little while. He tried to stand up for the industry, and now he can't get a job. In a line of flying, man.
He still got his radio show, but you're right, not on TV. They replaced him with what's the white female from America's? I don't know. She was a singer or something like that. I forget her name.
Okay, I actually don't watch network TV, to be honest, Nate, other than Sundays. Sundays and Saturdays, and that's only because there's football on those channels. But that's about it. Let me say this, because you were talking about the stimulus money. Nate, that money was passed a long time ago as part of the CARES Act. And I'm watching Stephanie Wool right now on MSNBC. I'm off today, y'all, so don't say Glenn got a job, but I'm off today. But she just mentioned that Steve Mnuchin decided that $455 billion, whatever the aid package was that was part of the CARES Act, because they screwed up so bad because of the PPE loans going to Jeff Ruby and, Emerald and Carlo and Johnny, that he decided that we're not going to improve this process. We're just going to send the money we're just going to send the money back. And now they're saying that he's doing this because this will help stunt Joe Biden coming to office and being able to get the economy back again. This is another one. This is another part of Donald Trump's "I lost scorched earth" strategy.
Right.
Strategy. So can you believe that, Nate? So he's going out like F everybody else. We're not gonna give you money. I watched Dr. Fauci the other day. He said Donald Trump hasn't been in a COVID-19 meeting for like 3 months, 2 or 3 months. And then he says, well, Mike Pence is there, and Mike Pence there goes translates it to Donald Trump. You know Mike Pence scared as hell to go in there to tell him that 240,000 people are died. You know Mike Pence not going in there and giving him the truth. He probably going, Donald, he started stuttering like Joe Biden when he was 14. Nate, man, I heard the brother on that you just did an interview with, and of course, it was another Chop exclusive. I was in and out, so I didn't get every detail of his interview. What's his political affiliation?
Democrat. He's going to be seeking a Democrat endorsement.
Because I went on his website and I saw that he has a quote there for Yvette Simpson. You know what, Nate? This is going to be a wild city council. For the political junkies out there, I absolutely love it. They're going to have to come to you, Nate. I mean, you're a feature now. You're a fixture in the Cincinnati medium universe now, and they know it. And actually, you have shown that coming in the Chop Shop and, your level of influence or your ability to ask the questions that you won't get in a freaking Trisha Mackey interview on 5, 9, and 12, you're going to have to answer the hard questions. So I appreciate the brother. He almost said, if you don't F with me. And I felt him on that. I'm like, okay. But, there's some other things, man. I got questions, Nate.
What's the question?
I got questions, dude.
What's your question?
Man, I got to let it marinate. Man. I got to do my research now. Like I said, you know me. I can't come off like drop off some half-ass stuff and then look goofy as hell when the facts come out to be the other side. So I gotta look into this. You know how it is, man. I can't get droppish on them. As far as PG, and I know you said that's between you and him, and your conversation. Is there anything out there to say that he might get off, or is he kind of like stuck like Chuck?
In terms of, I'm not even gonna hit that. Yeah, I just telling people that we had a conversation. That's it.
Well, if you were like to hit one of the emoji buttons, would it be like a like, a love, a wild face? Okay, I ain't gonna press you.
Oh, man, you can press all you want to, man. I mean.
I know. Hey, you know what? I appreciate you not pulling an Ndukwe. I appreciate that, man. That's in the lexicon now.
Well,
don't one thing, Ndukwe me.
Whether it doesn't matter who it is. If you tell me something and you say it's between us, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go to jail for it. So it is what it is.
I heard that. I felt you. Hey, man, you have a great weekend, bro. Choppers, y'all have a good one. You know how it is, mate, man. I'm out on Fridays, man. Those first days coming fast and heavy, man. But I'm just gonna let it marinate, man. Sink in the news, and this weekend. Of course, your people down the Dow, they call him PG sitting in jail. That's what they call him. Yeah.
I mean, he never went to jail, though. I don't think. Did he go to jail? I don't know. He was arrested, so I mean, he went to some kind of lockup facility.
PG sitting in jail.
That's hilarious.
That's their new name now. So
it comes with territory.
I want to welcome. Yeah, I want to welcome Stefan to the Chop Shop. Apparently, he's going to be like Kabaka Abba 2.0 now with a bullhorn. I can see it coming, Dave. I analyze these things, man. There's another generation of them coming out. I'm waiting for the next Kabaka Abba, who's going to be the next Doug Springs, the next Honorable William Kirkland. These are the OGs of the group.
They are
But now,
OGs.
you know, here's the next battalion coming up, Stefan's on the world. And let me also say this. Kelly, if I was your campaign advisor, I would kind of settle it down just a little bit. Just a little bit. I mean, you can't get on people's last good nerve before the campaign starts. Nate, I'm out, man. You have a good one, bro.
Wow. I'm not sure what he meant, but okay. That's his flow. You're always entitled to your own flow. I thought she had a great call. Very informative on multiple levels. Thought it was a good call. And again, I mean, all those folks that was telling Kelly, like, you know, razzing her or ridiculing her, I mean, you know, her prospects look completely differently now because I only say that David Mann's a front runner because he is an elected member of council right now and he has a long history of being elected. But outside of that, I mean, who's really feeling David Mann out here with your Amadeus wig? I still, listen, when I talk to David Mann, if in fact that happens, I'm still going to ask him about that campaign commercial when he had white wigs on black kids. Like, what were you trying to communicate? Like, you know, it sounds like some problems. This community loves black kids, but when they grow up and become adolescents and adults and are articulate and intelligent enough to challenge you, all of a sudden we don't like you no more. Now we don't want to hear from you no more. So I still got a problem with that. So how many people are really feeling David Mann? I'm not anti-David Mann. This is my personal perspective. I ain't feeling him. For what? Just because he didn't get caught up in a scandal? I didn't expect you to get caught in a scandal anyway. It just seems like, you know, I mean, what the hell is this, you know? And I don't want to be, you know, promoting ageism or anything, but I'm looking for somebody that's more with the times. Not in terms of their age, but in terms of their thinking. And when he walked out of that meeting at City Hall, it wasn't City Hall, it was the Duke Energy Convention Center, because protesters were upset. Well, guess what? We mad. They mad about stuff. They sick and tired of it. And you can't sit there and listen? Bad luck, homie. I can't get over that. I don't give a damn who's in the race. I can't get over it. So to me, Raphael Prophet, Kelly Prather, you know, PG Sittenfield not being a part of it. Again, we'll have to wait and see if, in fact, that's what really happens. And all indications look that way to me right now. To me, it just raises their stakes and the opportunity that they have to actually be elected. We'll have to wait and see, family. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Morning, Nathan. It's Kevin on sale. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Kevin. Welcome.
Took a day off, man. It's a thing, apparently. Friday's a good day to take the day off, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So first off, about the young man that called in. Hey, you know what? Best of luck to you. I hope your campaign brings much good fruit. The most important thing is stay true to whatever it is. You know, stay true to the community, because we've found a lot of great people. Some really great people have gone down the way, and you know they flipped, some flopped. I don't know. There's something about the water downtown, boy. But yeah, you know, hold the course. And one thing I'll tell anybody out there that's listening, the chop shop don't like name dropping. Don't do that. Unless you got that person ready to speak for you, like literally speak for you as you speak, you shouldn't drop names. It causes questions, because we don't need favor like that. We just want to know what you're going to do. It doesn't matter what the other person you talked to did last month. That's not important to me at all. What's important is, what are you going to do?
Right.
I am having a moment today, Brother Nathan, because Drop Squad 52 claimed the new president of the United States. You know how you trying to slide that through, man? I'm loving it. He's claiming the new president, man. This is good stuff. This is a momentous occasion. Things are definitely moving in the right direction. He tried to back it up and then say, you know, yeah, but Donald's still making it hard for him. Like, that's a good thing. Which, I don't know. That sounds like the guy that's out there. You was watching a fight and you saw the dude lose, And you're like, you know what, though? I want to give you just a little bit of props. But in reality, he picked the fight and he should have left the dude alone. Nathan, it's a great day to have a great day, bro.
It is.
Be blessed, man.
Same to you, brother.
Blessed.
Most deaf. Hey, everybody, it's almost my time to roll, but I got to remind you that the Is It Just Me podcast with Donnie B is coming up today at 12:30. I want to make sure you plug into that. I think it's going to be quite interesting. What is Donnie going to be talking about? Well, if you haven't watched the show, she starts out catching up on the week. Things that she's been watching. Everybody's been quarantined and are watching more from live streaming services. She's no different. And she might drop some gems and jewels. If you're into that, you might find it interesting. Plus, and here's the cover for it, she'll be talking about corruption at Cincinnati City Hall. Corruption at City Hall today. That's the Is It Just Me podcast with Donnie B. Also, don't forget, Sunday at 1 p.m., the Dope Chicks Collective. That's 1 p.m. That's a podcast and live stream. And as I said, I'm working with a lot of very smart, intelligent, talented Black men and women. My mission is simple. Amplify Black voices. That's exactly what we're doing. I want to say shout out to Team NI. I want to say shout out to the Choppers and to you. And of course, shout out to my patrons. I really appreciate you. Hey, D, she was a new patron within the last 24 hours. I really appreciate you. There's a link in today's description for as little as $2 a month. You can become a patron. I'm going to be running some prizes over the weekend. I've got a couple of $10 gift cards, and I'm going to do that exclusively for my patrons. Just to say thank you so much. It'll just be for you. That's only about 40 individuals right now. My goal is to get that to 250. I feel as if with the average that we're taking in at 250, that'll meet my minimum, nearly my goal, my first goal in terms of raising funds and resources. If you like this show, if you like the idea of what we're doing with CDM, if you like any of our shows, well, then consider it. It's a way of helping to build independent media here in the city of Cincinnati and beyond. And as I said, I am doing exactly as I said I would do. I'm working with smart, intelligent men and women, Black men and women, to amplify their voices. There's so much great talent here in the city of Cincinnati, and we are just getting started. We're just getting started. So I'll say it again. And I've reached out to people who I see doing things, and sometimes I get a response back, sometimes I don't. But I want you to know that in my heart, I am a collaborator and am willing to collaborate with anybody that shares that mission to build something absolutely beautiful. And we are just starting at CDM. We are just starting. What we do next might surprise you. It might surprise you. So again, I'll say it again. All of my links are in today's description on Facebook and YouTube. You can connect with me on any platform, and you can also connect with me on Patreon as well. If you're one of my patrons, look for that. I'll be running some trivia exclusively for you, just so I can say thank you. I really appreciate you. All right, for everybody, because there's a tier system, but I'm going to do it for everyone in the tier, just to say thank you for your support. All right, and with that, I didn't talk about Jeezy and Gucci. I only watched a little bit of it. I'm not sure if I watched enough to say who I thought was one. It was super entertaining. I'm going to watch more over the weekend. All right. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. Have an excellent rest of your day. Remember our motto: winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. All right. I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a fuck, that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a fuck, I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, on my totem is nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings I throw on my pain on percussion. The disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no